Madam President, the time is 5:30.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to the regular board meeting of Adelanto Elementary School District. Today is Tuesday, March the 14th, 2023. The time is 5:30. Call to order. May I get a roll call, please, Ms. LeVey?
Trustee Benz,
Present.
trustee Webster,
Webster present.
trustee La French,
Love French present.
trustee Turner will be running late today. I'll take note.
We have a quorum establishment. 1.04 Pledge of Allegiance. Would everybody please stand and place your right hand over your heart? Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adoption of the agenda. Ms. LeVey, do we have any proposed additions, deletions, and adjustments in the order of business?
Madam President, we do. Item 11.02, business services. The second interim presentation has been revised. It is posted on the website. We do have it here for the public, and trustees, you should have a copy as well.
Thank you. 2.02, adoption of the agenda. Trustees, I need a motion to adopt the agenda.
Okay, Benz, I motion to adopt the agenda with the revision.
Can I get a second, please?
Trustee Webster, I second.
Ms. LeVey, please call for the vote.
Trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Love French, I. Motion passed 3-0. Special recognition. Mr. Cross.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. The first item this evening is the approval of the resolution 22.23.20, the Little Red Schoolhouse, to Miss Vi Martin. We'd like to call her up to the front if we may this time, and also Miss Terry, the principal of George. And so we have the resolution.
Hello.
You can read it.
Hello, hello. They said, don't give it a mic.
Uh-oh.
Thank you. Thank you. Adelanto Elementary School District, Resolution 22.23.20. Whereas the Board of Trustees would like to take this opportunity to thank you, Ms. Vi Martin, for going above and beyond and working tirelessly on weekends and after school with students to showcase and present their talent. Ms. Vi Martin has served the Adelanto Elementary School District with professionalism and dedication for more than 27 years. Your support and dedication did not go unnoticed. Whereas Ms. Martin has built a strong rapport with students and families that have earned her the utmost respect and gratitude. Ms. Martin has the special ability to address the social, emotional needs of our students and can transform the culture of a classroom in a positive manner using the arts. Whereas Ms. Vi Martin has shown excellence in her skills, creativity, and immeasurable abilities in service to the Adelanto Elementary School District and our students and families. Ms. Martin's talents go way beyond an educator. She is a playwright, a choreographer, set design creator, costume design, a seamstress, director, and producer. Does it all. Yes, she does. Now Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of the Adelanto Elementary School District that Miss Vi Martin be commended for her outstanding dedication to the students, staff, and community of George Visual and Performing Arts Elementary School. We have adopted this 14th day of March 2023 by the Adelanto Elementary School District Board of Trustees. President LaShawn Love French, Board Clerk Stephanie Webster, Board Member Christine Turner, Board Member Christina Benz, and of course, our Superintendent, Mr. Michael Kraus. Thank you, baby. We thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, honey. Thank you, love. Thank you, Miss Vi. Ooh. All right, you gotta give me this.
All right. Okay, so humor me for a second. Put your two thumbs together and go like this. Row, 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 row. And I'm going to drill a hole, and we're on the same boat together. If I drill a hole, we're all going to sink. That's in your personal relationships. That's with your families, your loved ones, and that's with this district. So let's all work together. We got to figure it out. I love everyone. I love everyone. I love people. You're people. I'm a people. Let's do this. Thank you for that. Thank you for this.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh, one last thing. No one does anything alone. I didn't do this alone. I didn't do it alone. You need to know that. None of us do anything alone. Even when you get your hamburger.
Trustees, can I get a motion to approve the resolution?
I, Webster, motion to approve.
Can I get a second, please?
Benz, I second.
Ms. LeVey, call for the vote, please.
Trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Love French, I motion passed 3-0. Thank you. Mr. Kraus?
Yes, thank you, Madam President, members of the board. This evening, we'd like to call up Mr. Jonathan Wilson, principal of Eagle Ranch Elementary School, and he's going to introduce the students that'll be presenting this evening.
Oh, all right. No. Okay. Well, while they're setting that up, I'll good evening, Board of Trustees, Executive Cabinet, teachers, students, and community members. I'm Jonathan Wilson, the proud principal of Eagle Ranch Elementary School. I prepared just a short slideshow to talk about the great things that we are doing over at Eagle Ranch. So I'll go through that first just before we introduce our students. There we go. Just a little bit about who we are. We have 525 students, TK through 5th grade. What we are focusing on this year is SEL, which is social emotional learning. Focus on reading, just really building a community of reading and building community. For SEL, our teachers are dedicating 30 minutes a day with our students to focus on SEL within the first hour of the day in hopes of, setting the tone for that day for our students. With the focus on reading, we really are building a culture of reading over at Eagle Ranch. Through our MTSS groups, our interventions, we've had a harvest/reading festival, and most recently with our One School, One Book that we recently did, which you'll see kind of decorated on the back, and I'll talk about that more in just a couple minutes here. For building community, so like Vi said, I was putting together this slideshow, and it was really good to go back and look at the pictures of all the things that have happened so far this year. And when I did that, I had the realization that it takes, like Vi said, all of us to do that. Looking through all the fantastic events we've had, it takes everyone, and starting with my assistant principal, Mr. Latome, our office staff, our nursing staff, our proctors, our custodians, our CNS staff. I'm sure I'm forgetting some. Oh, geez, our teachers. I'm so sorry. Our teachers, our students, and our parents, and our fantastic PTA. Without everybody doing this stuff cannot be done. One person cannot do this. So I really echo what Vi said. And I'd just like to publicly thank all the stakeholders involved with Eagle Ranch for the great things that are going on this year. And, putting together this presentation really kind of reminded me of that. It's easy to get stuck in, just the dog days of going through the year and not really step back and realize all the great things going on. So I do want to publicly just appreciate everybody that is involved with Eagle Ranch. Let's see. So just a couple events that we've done to kick off our book fair this year. We had a Star Wars character day. So you'll see some pictures there. You'll see on the bottom left how our PTA decorated our book fair room. It was really cool. For anybody that knows, Mr. Latome, our assistant principal, is very big into Star Wars. So he came dressed to the T with a lightsaber and everything. And it was really neat to see. Sorry, I don't have any Star Wars costumes, but I do like the movies. But next, we had our Harvest Festival, which was a really good time, our reading festival. What you'll probably see the most is Mr. Latome and myself covered with whipped cream. It was a really good and fun thing for the kids to come and do. They got to throw a pie at Mr. Latome and myself. It was a very long night, but the community really liked it. It was a really good turnout. As you can see by the picture of our NPR there, it was packed. And it was great to see the response from the community was fantastic for that. Here's just some pictures of our winter performance that we did this year. All of our grade levels participated. And you can see the great job our PTA did with decorating our NPR, and just a great job that the students and teachers did in getting ready for that event. Here's just some pictures of the 100th day of school, which is really cute. We had a lot of kindergarten old people coming through with canes and gray hair and all that, which is also, it's a really fun thing to see. Here's just some highlights from Read Across America, which just happened recently. We had a classroom poster contest. So what you'll see is some pictures there of just some of our classrooms and what they did in the NPR. And the winning class did receive a popcorn party from our PTA, but all the posters looked really great. And I would invite the board and everybody to come and look at those while they're still up. They are really cute to see. And, they really did a good job with that. Next up, this was probably the most rewarding one. I'm not going to lie to you. It was on a Friday night, and Friday night, I'm about ready to check out. I'm not going to lie, but we did a father-daughter dance, and it was a fantastic turnout. Once again, our PTA, our teachers really came together to make this event happen. It was crowded in there. Everybody was dressed formally. It was really, really cute, and it was really great to see the fantastic male presence for our families at Eagle Ranch. I would like to invite the board to, we have a mother-son dance at the end of the month on May 31st. If you guys would like to come, you're more than welcome to. It is on a Friday from 5 to 7, but we'll be there. And finally, our One School, One Book program that we started doing this year. Our first book that we chose to read was How to Eat Fried Worms. The students read a certain amount every single day. Each student got to keep a book. If you'll see in the pictures there, you guys may not be able to tell, but Mrs. Coburn and Dr. Dwyzon came to guest read for our students, and it was a really great time. Back on the back wall, you'll see a lot of the work that the kids and students or kids and teachers did for that event. It's a lot of really cute stuff. When you get a chance, go look at it. There's there's worm recipes. You'll see some kindergarten frying pans up there with some ketchup and mustard draped all over some worms. There is some cute worm pictures back there saying if they would or would not eat a fried worm. So it was really cute. And to celebrate it all, we had the students do dirt in a cup. I believe that's what it's called, where they got pudding and crushed up Oreos and some gummy worms just to kind of cap it off as a fun way to end the book. And they watched the little short animated film for the movie. And it was really, or for the book. And it was a really great thing. And our campus really had fun with it. And we have 2 more books planned. One will be at the, let's see, after state testing, and then one for next year. So we look forward to that. It was a really good thing. All right, so without further ado, I will welcome up Mrs. Perry to introduce our fantastic students who are performing on the keyboard tonight. We are blessed enough to have Mrs. Perry do music over at Eagle Ranch, and she is doing a fantastic job. I can't say enough great things about having her on campus, and we will see that here with what our students are going to do. Our students are a little nervous, but they're going to kill it. They're going to do a great job. So I welcome up Mrs. Perry.
Okay, hello, I'm Mrs. Perry, and our first student today is going to be Les Dreyer. But before they come up for just 1 second, just wanted to let everybody know, so just a little bit of context, there we go, that these are from our 4th and 5th grade keyboard class that has been going for about 8 weeks now, and they're doing amazing. So I can't wait to hear them now and have you hear them too. So Les going to come up, and he's going to be playing Yankee Doodle. And again, just want to mention, like, it's very difficult to get up here. My voice is like shaking. So just imagine for the kids, they get nervous. So they're doing good. Next, we have Sammy G, who's going to play Swans on the Lake. Next is Josh Winter, who is going to be playing Simple Gifts and Let's Sing for piano. Our final student tonight will be Joseph Garcia, and he is going to play the Tiresome Woodpecker and the Frogs Chorus.
All right, well, thank you, Eagle Ranch Elementary School. Madam President, members of the board, at this time, I would like to have us all come up front. We have some students that we will be recognizing, and I know that Ms. Risa Brias from Assemblymember Juan Crio's office is also with us this evening. I'd like to call her up as well because she also has some certificates for these outstanding students that have been recognized. They were recognized at a Rotary of Victorville luncheon a few weeks ago, and this evening we'd like to also recognize them in our board meeting this evening. So as you hear your name, please come up to the front. So. All right, first off, we'd like to call Mr. Nathan Gonzalez up to the front. Nathan, tell us which school you're representing this evening.
Columbia Middle School.
And thank you. And who all's here from Columbia Middle School? Any staff members or anyone? All right. And what about family? Did you bring anybody with you tonight? Where's your family at? Well, come on up. If you're able, come on up here. Be able to come on up. So Nathan attends Columbia Middle School, and this certificate is awarded to you in recognition of who have made marked improvements in academic achievement and attendance. And so on behalf of the district, I'd like to present you this certificate this evening. And then I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Risa Barrias, who will also have a certificate for you as well.
On the behalf of Assemblymember Juan Carrillo, the constituents of Assembly District 39 and the California State Legislature, I want to congratulate you on your work and your dedication to academic improvement and growth. We hope that you'll continue on this path. Thank you so much.
Yeah, if you want to just come on and shake. Congratulations. Oh, he's got a handful of certificate. Oh, no. There you go. Grab that certificate there and make your way down. If the parents want to come up and get a photo as well at the end here, we'd love to get a photo. Come on in. All right, he's taking, Sandra got it? All right. Thank you so much. Next, we'd like to call up Brittany Perez. And the family that's with Brittany this evening, if you want to come up as well. So Brittany, tell us what school you're representing. El Mirage. Do we have anybody from El Mirage here this evening? Oh, you got a big fan club out there, Brittany. So in recognition of the work that you're doing in our district, I want to present to you the Star Award on behalf of the Adelanto Elementary School District. So congratulations. Absolutely. Let's give her a round of applause. And then I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Barrias.
And on the behalf of Assemblymember Juan Carrillo, the 39th Assembly District of California and the California State Legislature, I want to congratulate you on your hard work. You did the work to earn this. And thank you to the parents for helping her along the way as well. We hope that you'll continue on your path to growth and academic excellence. Thank you.
Congratulations. Come on over. Great. Thank you so much. Congratulations. All right. Next, we'd like to call up Prince Hill. Come on up to the front. Tell us what school you're representing.
George Middle School.
George, anybody here from George? Got a few people from George here. All right. Well, on behalf of the Adelanto Elementary School District, I want to present you the certificate in recognition of all the hard work you do for our district and in school, and keep it up. So congratulations, sir. Absolutely. And I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Barrias.
And of course, on the behalf of Assemblymember Juan Carrillo, the constituents of the 39th Assembly District and the California State Legislature, I congratulate you on your hard work. You earned this, and we hope that you'll continue to earn this. Congratulations.
Ms. Ridley. Oh, they're more than welcome to get on in there. All right, congratulations, sir. Next, we'd like to call up Brenda Gonzalez. Come on over here. Tell us, what school do you represent?
Melva Davis Academy of Excellence Middle School.
All right, do we have anybody from Melva Davis here this evening? All right. What about your parents? Your parents here? Oh, it's right there. Come on over too. You get to join up here as well. So on behalf of the Adelanto Elementary School District, I want to give you this star award for all your hard work in school. And I know that you will keep it up. So congratulations on the certificate. Absolutely. You guys can clap for her. She deserves it.
And on the behalf of Assemblymember Juan Carrillo, the constituents of the 39th Assembly District and the California State Legislature, I congratulate you on the efforts that you've made to improve your academic performance and to continue your path to learning and excellence. Thank you.
Where's Kathy? There you go. It's like, where'd Kathy go? Great. Congratulations. Thank you. All right. Now we'd like to call Mr. Ethan Escobar up to the front. Mr. Escobar may not have made it this evening, but he also deserves the recognition as well as all the people that we just recognized. So on behalf of all the hard work that Ethan does, and he is with Mesa Linda Middle School, and I want to recognize him this evening. So he will get a star award as well. And then if you want to just say a few words, if he's out there listening. So.
Absolutely. On the behalf of Assemblymember Juan Carrillo, the constituents of the 39th Assembly District and the California State Legislature, we congratulate you, Ethan, on your hard work and your path to achievement. Please continue your path toward excellence. We are so proud of all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, members of the board. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. All right, Madam President. Next, we'd like to call up Kim Vigliano with CSEA. She's going to tell us a little bit about the CSEA no-cost college program.
Oh, sorry. Good evening, Madam President, board members, Superintendent Kraus, admin, my fellow classified staff and certificated staff. I wanted to recognize some of us that have finished the no-cost college program. So I have a couple of my coworkers in the audience. So I put a little presentation together. So I appreciate Mr. Kraus giving me the opportunity to do this. My journey. In January 2020, I started my journey by going to college at age 53. This was the first time I'd ever attended and was intimidated at first. It took me until December of 2022 to finish my class, and I was excited finally to have a degree at my age of 56. Along the way, I've met so many amazing people like those who I am excited to honor tonight. We all work for the district. We have families. We attend school, and some of us even had extra jobs and duties like being involved in CSEA as an elected officer. I am sure many of us wanted to throw in the towel more than once. For me, it was when I was taking statistics, but through all those bad days and even through the tears, we did it. I am so proud of all of you and appreciate the opportunity to recognize you for your accomplishments. I wish you the best in your upcoming endeavors, and I appreciate all you do for the Adelanto Elementary School District and staff and students. Thank you to CSEA. Although it saddens me that the no-cost college program has ended, many of us were and are fortunate that since we were enrolled, we were able to complete our degrees through this amazing program. Being a part of this program was an amazing experience for me, and along the way, I have proved not only to myself, but to many others that you can pursue your dreams of furthering your education. I hope along the way that my journey, along with my coworkers' journeys, have inspired others and will continue to inspire others in taking that first step in obtaining your first degree or continuing where you left off in the path of your education future. I graduated from Eastern Gateway College with my associate's degree in social work. I just started last night at Azusa Pacific, going for my bachelor's degree in psychology. So Jessica Alcantar, do you want to come up? Jessica is one of our bus aides. She graduated from Eastern Gateway College, also with her degree in social work. She was basically the reason I changed my degree to social work. We did our last practicum class with Missy Lynn Gonzalez, who just opened up a foster agency in Victorville. Jessica just started 2 weeks ago attending University of Massachusetts Global for her bachelor's degree in social work. So I'm super proud of her. Oops. It's not forwarding. Jennifer Gonzalez, can you come up here? She's our security at Mesa Linda. She graduated from Eastern Gateway College with her AA in liberal arts and her AS in criminal justice. She is currently enrolled at Franklin University working on her BS. I am super proud of her. Anthony Sinatra, our own classified member who left us to go to management. Can you come up here? He graduated from Eastern Gateway College, Community College with his AAB in business management with a cybersecurity certificate. He's currently enrolled at National University, pursuing his bachelor's of business management with an emphasis on business law. Angelica Nasby, who's on Zoom, she's a paraprofessional. She graduated at Eastern Gateway Community College in pursuing her teacher's education. She's currently enrolled in WGU in the special education program and elementary dual licensure BA program. So hopefully we have a future teacher on our hands. Natalie Mason, she's a paraprofessional at Melva Davis. She graduated Eastern Gateway Community College. She is currently finishing her bachelor's degree at Central State, also in the teaching program. So another paraprofessional might be teaching. To those who are finishing up, I want to give a huge shout out to Claudia Hernandez. She's a paraprofessional at Melva Davis at my site. She is at Eastern Gateway Community College. She's pursuing business management and human resources. In May, when she graduates, she's not only graduating herself, her son will be graduating high school and her daughter will be graduating college. So I've seen her struggles, and it's nice to have her at my site to we pushed each other along. Angela Espino, she's our librarian at AES. She's currently finishing her degree at Central State University also. So you got this, guys. I'm so proud of you. My motto has always been, now it's never too late to learn. So to all of you, always remember this degree is yours and no one can take it away from you. Congratulations, and I wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors.
Oh, come back.
I would like to say congratulations to everyone, and you are correct. It is never too late to learn or to go to school. Trustees, does anyone want to say anything?
So I'll start. All right, so for first thing, I want to thank the students. They all kind of left. Please share that we are so thankful that they came. It was a brave thing to come and perform in front of everybody, and please remind them that it's on YouTube. So they'll be like, what? I want to thank our star recipients. That's not an easy task. I mean, and to their families who supported them. And I want to congratulate and thank our graduates. It isn't an easy thing to work and go to college. I struggled in college the whole time. You know, I was having kids during spring break, you know. So to take on that and continue on is truly inspiring. And thank you so much for sharing your stories and your successes.
Trustee Webster?
Good evening, everyone. I want to start off by highlighting the amount of talent we have in Adelanto. Tonight, we have not only recognized amazing students for their accomplishments and their talents, we've seen them firsthand play the beautiful music. Mr. Wilson, thank you so much for sharing your talent with us tonight. To all of our star recognitions, I want to say thank you for all your hard work and always keep up your dreams. To our CSEA college program and students, I want to say thank you for your dedication to your education. Falling in love with learning as you grow up is just the start. Once you get that motivation, the sky is the limit. I do want to take an additional moment and say thank you to Miss V. Martin for all of your 28 years of dedicated work to this district, and I will hold the rest. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to section 4, closed session declaration. We'll be taking items 4.02 through 4.05 into closed session. 4.01, public comment period for closed session items. The public comment period is administered by state law and is the point in the meeting set aside for members of the public to share their opinions with the board. Open meeting laws do not permit the board to engage in dialogue or answer questions. Any person who wishes to address the governing board on closed session agenda items must complete and submit an AESD speaker request form 5 minutes before the meeting is called to order. Public comments will only be taken on agenda items during the discussion of those items. The public values public comment, the board, values public comments, and although the Board of Trustees cannot take action or discuss items not on the agenda, the Board of Trustees listen carefully and appreciate input from the public. Additionally, a public speaker can be cut off for exceeding the allotted time or for willfully causing an actual disruption to the meeting. Before cutting a person off or removing someone, the board will give at least one clear warning. If you were cut off or warned last time, please consider that your warning. Individual speakers are allowed 3 minutes to address the board on each closed session agenda item. The board limits the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. With board consent, the president may increase or decrease the time allowed for public presentations depending on the topic and the number of persons wishing to be heard. The president may take a poll of speakers for or against a particular issue and may ask that additional persons speak only if they have something new to add. Mr. Kraus, do we have any speakers for ADTA?
Yes, Madam President, we'd like to call Jennifer Rader up to the podium, please.
Good evening. I want to thank this board for the privilege of coming before you again to speak. I'll be honest with you, I've been committing this to prayer every time, praying that you would not just listen to me, but that you would hear me and understand. Trustee Benz, you work in a classroom. More than anybody else, you know what it is that we face every day. President Love French, I know you've also worked with kids in early childhood education, so I imagine you also understand the challenges and frustrations that come with leading and teaching a room full of children. Trustee Turner and Trustee Webster, with all due respect, neither of you have ever taught school. Neither of you have spent any great amount of time in the classroom other than to pass through briefly a few times a year. So let me tell you what we face on a daily basis. The thing that I notice most about our unique population, and maybe it's just kids these days, is that they are constantly fighting us as we are trying to do the best we can to give them a positive education experience. They would rather play around, they would rather talk, they would rather instigate drama, they would rather threaten each other and threaten us. We work to prepare lessons that are engaging and motivating, and we feel a lot of pressure getting them ready for the next year as year builds on year and they will someday be adults. We do feel the pressures of preparing them. I certainly do, even in third grade, feel pressure to prepare my kids for fourth grade. If my kids don't leave my classroom reading fluently and at least able to calculate basic addition, subtraction, multiplication, their chances of staying current with their education and learning in fourth, fifth, and sixth and beyond is severely inhibited. I feel a lot of pressure, especially when they come to me in August with skills around first grade level. And that's just me. I know that every teacher feels similar stress and pressure. Every grade is struggling. We're going to be using the reason of COVID and that year of distance learning for a while yet until things level out and kids are all reacclimated to school. The social emotional problems and the anxiety that our kids are experiencing contribute to their bad behaviors. This is what I mean when I say that behind every behavior, there is a reason. We don't know what homes they come from. We don't know what stresses they have in their lives. We don't know what fears they have after the years of COVID where we had to wear a mask because we were afraid that the very air we breathed might be toxic. Our kids have been through a lot. Yes, they're resilient, but we are seeing unheard of levels of aggression and hostility. How would you like to go to work every day and hear your clients curse you and call you horrible words that I can't even say before you here today? We are called horrible names. One teacher was told last week that she should just kill herself because no one likes her. That comes from a child to an adult who is placed before them with the sole purpose of giving them a positive educational experience. Honestly, it makes me want to cry. Last week, another of our teachers was beaten by a student, kicked in his groin and smacked across the jaw. Thankfully, that student was dealt with and he's no longer in our district, but this is the kind of thing that our teachers go through. Why are we not doing more to protect our teachers? Teachers tell me about kids searching inappropriate things on their Chromebooks. They can get around the firewall. They are so techno savvy and the kids nearby are exposed to porn and violence and other filth. This is what we are dealing with on a daily basis. Kids in the middle schools are wandering the campus, ditching class, and do not listen when security or teachers tell them to go back to class. I know we've told you this before. I don't know if you hear me. The students look right through them and continue walking. Our teachers are in battle zones. The vandalism that occurs in our classrooms and bathrooms, the lack of respect, the sheer belligerence faces us every day. It's untenable. For the past couple of years, we've had administrators bail on us mid-year. We've had administrators be completely absent. I don't know why they're absent. It could be mental health days. It could be health problems, could be family reasons. We don't ask them why they're absent. And yet our teachers are being grilled about why they are absent. If a teacher takes a mental health day to restore themselves, to shore up the energy, to come back to face the battleground another day. But no, we are being questioned about the days we take off. I don't know why some teachers have taken more days than others. People have surgeries, maternity leave. People have been out of conferences. I myself am out on union business on a fairly regular basis. We have days allotted to us by our contract. Those days roll over from year to year. Personally, I have about 3 months saved up from all the years that I never had to take a day. For whatever reason, maybe I had a great class. Maybe I enjoyed good health that year. And this year we've had, as I said before, a slew of flus that have come through. COVID still requires more days than typical. We used to take 1, maybe 2 for a very bad cold. Now we're taking 4 and 5 days to make sure we're not bringing COVID back to our classrooms. Our teachers are under duress. Our students are giving us a run for the money this year. And every couple of weeks, you sit behind the dais and in your final remarks, you tell us essentially, and not in so many words, it feels like you're insinuating that we are lazy or up here lying to you. I can't begin to tell you how much that demoralizes us. We are doing the best job we can. Just a couple years ago, we were the heroes as kids went home and parents realized what we dealt with every day. And then we had distance learning where we learned an entirely new craft and it became almost 100% digital. And we were told, we're all in this together. We're all in this together. Well, it doesn't feel like we're all in this together. It really feels like we're being disrespected and put down, and we're being accused of phoning in our work instead of coming in and being dialed in on our jobs. There's a massive exodus in education, not just here, all over. There's a reason for it. It is an amazingly difficult thing to come every day facing 24 to 36 young minds and try and get them to do what they don't want to do. We try and get them to learn history, science, math, grammar, writing. They don't want to. They would rather sit at home on their Xbox or phone. This is the generation we're trying to teach, and getting them to fall in love with learning, as you said, Trustee Webster, is getting harder and harder. We still do it, but it is a struggle. In closing, I'd like to say that even though each of you has expressed to me clearly that you would like to be informed, that you would like the teachers to email you, that you would like to know what's going on, I can't help but notice that our emails go unanswered. Once in a while, we might get an acknowledgement, but there's no dialogue, there's no follow through, there's nothing we can see that indicates we wrote you anything at all. I've sent you good news, I've sent you concerns. None of it receives a response. Many teachers have expressed to me that they have emailed you and there is no response. You are our leaders. You are in charge of this district. It's a heavy burden, but we need you to realize that we too have a heavy burden in this job we're choosing to do. And unfortunately, many have reached out to me for letters of recommendation to work elsewhere. Is that how you lead a district? You have the power to make some great changes this year. Our students deserve it and our teachers deserve it.
Thank you, Ms. Rader. Do we have anyone from CSEA?
Yes, Madam President, we'd like to call Ms. Diane Lynn to the podium, please.
Good evening, trustees, Madam President, Mr. Kraus and Cabinet, all of our certificated staff that are here and classified staff and all others attending. First of all, I would like to say that I was able to attend Trustee Ecky's memorial, and it was beautiful. I know a lot of you had a big part in putting this together, and I know Mr. Kraus, you were a major role in that. So it was beautiful. Thank you. Also, I'd like to congratulate all the students that were brave enough to come up here and perform for us. They were great. And also our Star Reward students that were also here. I have a special person, Miss Vi Martin, that I want to speak upon. I've known her for quite a few years. She's very talented. I've always said she's the most talented person I have ever met. There's a few things that were not commented on her many talents. She also sings beautifully. She's a great dancer. She's a great mentor, not only to our students, but to our staff. And she listens. She is a counselor as well. So kudos to Miss Martin. Love you. I also wanted to touch on negotiations. We are slowly but surely getting things done. I wish we could speed it up, but that's the way things go.
Also, for all of the positions that are not filled, we really need these positions filled. It's a shame that we classified and certificated are in negotiations. I don't feel I'm absent. I'm working, and so are they, and we cannot get subs. I've said in the past that we are understaffed in our personnel HR department, and it's taking some of our newly hired people that come to apply for us over a month from the day they turn in their application to the end. I feel that we could use some more help in our HR department. I think if all of our positions were filled, we could do great things for Adelanto. Thank you for listening. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Ms. Lynn. Mr. Cross, do we have any?
Yes, we have an audience member, Mr. Robert Zubia. We'd like to call him to the podium, please. Or he might be on Zoom, but is he here, Mr. Zubia? Went to the restroom. Okay. Madam President, they're just checking real quick to see if he's there. And we do have another request for closed session, but the item is actually in open session. So there's a gentleman that had put in for closed session, but that item would actually be heard on open session.
Okay, thank you. Give a minute or two to return.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Duran went to check. Correct, Mr. Sinatra? We'd like to welcome Mr. Zubia to the podium.
Good evening. Sorry about that. I had no idea I'd be called up so quickly. Okay, well, first of all, I'd like to say, I am so glad that spring break is upon us. I'm saying this because I have had quite a school year. In mid-September, I experienced bronchitis, and it didn't go away for almost a month. Shortly after that, I received a doctor's notice that nobody in this room would enjoy receiving, and I had to take care of that and experience what the medical professionals prescribed. It took some time and was not enjoyable. And shortly after that, I was involved in a collision from behind, and I am still working out the details and solutions of that accident. These events have been out of the ordinary for me, and in order to continue on, I've had to take some days off here and there. Nothing excessive from what I am allotted in my contract, but I did what was needed to do in order to continue serving my wonderful students. I truly believe I cannot take care of them if I am not taking satisfactory care of myself. And as I was going through these challenges, the goals, objectives, and pressures of the school year did not stop. I had to find ways of moving forward because my students depend on me. And I am grateful to say that most of them appreciate me. Also, I come to work each day with a positive attitude. Whatever difficulties I am facing, I do not transfer over to my students. If I am having a bad morning, I put a smile on and keep things positive for my students. I want them to feel comfortable and great about coming to our classroom. But if I can keep things honest, some students are not in line with this approach to my classroom management. Some students try to derail my objectives, no matter how positive they are. They sometimes do so by saying inappropriate things to others to get a rise out of them, by not keeping their hands to themselves, or by just being non-compliant towards me. If this continues longer than I prefer, I reach out to their families for support. And sometimes instead of getting the assistance I need, I get responses such as, "Stop picking on my kid," or "Are you even a man?" I've had to hear things like that every now and again. It doesn't happen often, but every now and again I do. Let me see. I feel remorseful that they most likely do not have the complete picture of what takes place in our classroom. But I always remember that I am the professional and I am not to respond in like manner. I am to develop solutions and not escalate the problem any further. And I believe that is worth a great deal. Many times, in addition to our workload, we solve problems that do not involve others that are higher up in the chain of command. I believe administration and the board should be very grateful for this. We are educators as well as problem solvers, which is another reason why I believe we deserve the increase in salary we are petitioning for. And until I am shown otherwise, I believe the funds are present to be utilized fairly. Indeed, we deserve it, and we are simply trying to prepare for our futures in a similar manner to administrative and board members. I hope a fair offer is made in the near future to avoid escalating this dilemma any further, because indeed, we will be prepared if it does. Nevertheless, we want to cooperate with you, the board members, but we also need for you to be cooperative with us. Thank you very much, and I wish you a good evening.
Thank you. Moving on to section 6, recess to closed session. Trustees, can I get a motion to recess to closed session?
Benz, I motion to recess to close session.
Can I get a second, please?
Webster, I second.
Ms. LeVey, call for the vote, please.
Trustee Beth Webster,
Aye.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Love French, I motion pass 3-0. The time is 6:33. Reconvene to open session. The time is 8:24. Call to order. Mrs. LeVey, please take a roll call.
Trustee Benz,
Present.
trustee Webster,
Webster present.
trustee La French.
Left French present. I need 1 second. I have the wrong agenda. My apologies. Moving on to section 8. Did we do roll call already, this thing? Yes, we did. Okay. Moving on to section 8, announcement and reportable actions taken during closed session. Closed session agenda item, public employee dismissal, discipline release pursuant to government code section 54957. The board directed the superintendent or his designee to send out appropriate legal notice. Oh, I'm sorry, let me back up. In closed session, the board took action to hereby determine that the following classified position be eliminated or reduced due to lack of work and or lack of funds pursuant to Education Code Section 45117 and 45308, effective at the end of the 2022-23 school year. The board directed the superintendent or his designee to send out appropriate legal notice. The roll call vote was as followed. It was first by Benz, second by Webster. It was yeas by Benz, Webster, French, 3-0. A second announcement, the board took action to accept the final settlement agreement for OAH case number 2023 020340. It was moved by trustee Benz and second by trustee Webster. The vote was 3-0. Moving on to public testimony. Mr. Kraus, do we have any speakers?
Yes, Madam President, at this time, we'd like to see if anyone from ADTA is willing to speak. Ms. Rader looks like she's coming up to the podium.
Thank you.
Okay, there we go. Thank you again for the opportunity to address you. I've been in this district for 28 years. I remember when we were elementary only, no middle schools. We were a small, tight-knit family. I had come from Riverside Unified, and I remember being amazed at the camaraderie between admin and teachers. In Riverside, it had been a really hostile relationship. I truly felt as if we're here in Adelanto, all working on the same team, pushing toward the goal of a great education for our children. Our board members, our classified staff, our teachers, we all knew each other by name, and everyone was friendly. We worked hard, we worked late. It was a different district than the one we experience these days. I'll say it again, you hold the power. Making us a team again is within your grasp. The speed of the leader is the speed of the pack. When you decide that every stakeholder in this district deserves fair treatment, we will come closer to the ideal we seek. And administrators and teachers and counselors and bus drivers, custodians and security and aides and secretaries will all work together and give the students the best education possible. You hold the key. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rader. Do we have anyone from CSEA? Mr. Cross?
Mr. Sinatra, do you see anyone raising their hand in the Zoom meeting?
I believe Diane Lynn had something to say. Unmuting her now. Ms. Lynn, your microphone is off a little bit.
Back in.
Let's try it. I'm going to try to mute and unmute you again. No, it still sounds like a chipmunk. I'm sorry. Yeah, if you want to try logging out and back in real quick.
Mr. Sinatra, is there any luck that she log out and try to log back in? Do you know, sir?
She's logged out. Waiting to see if she logs back in.
And we
But
do believe it's on her end and not on our end?
It is on her end, not on our end.
Great, thank you, sir.
Okay. Let's move forward. We can come back if she's able to move in.
Madam President, we'd like to call Dr. Ellen Kohler to the podium. She's still with us? Is she on Zoom, Mr. Sinatra, by chance?
I do not see her on Zoom.
All right, thank you.
I do see Diane Lynn back on though.
Great. We can try Miss Lynn again.
Asking her to unmute now.
Oh, hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me this time.
Great,
We
yeah.
can hear you great this time.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention something that was important for me to say when I first spoke. I wanted to say I'm so very proud and happy that our CSCA members or classified staff were able to take advantage of the no-cost college plan. For those of you who completed your degrees, I want to say congratulations. And those of you who are continuing your education, go for it. You can do it. So thank you so much for allowing me to come back on, and sorry for the audio problem. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Madam President, we'd like to welcome Melanie Caven to the podium.
Good evening, board members, cabinet members, district employees, and audience members. Last year, I don't know if you guys remember, my kindergarten position was eliminated at Gus Franklin because we didn't have enough kids to fill completely 4 classes. And so they were condensed into 3 classrooms. And even though I had already bonded with these kindergarten students for 4 weeks, and I had brought parents with me, and instead there was 3 classrooms of 24 students. And when I appeared before the board on Zoom to protest this decision because it would hurt the emotional stability of my students that I had already bonded with, the response that you guys gave me and our then current superintendent was that the district needs to be fiscally responsible. So how is the district being fiscally responsible this year? Withholding money from us. Last year, you had an amount of $6.7 million that should have been paid to teachers by law, by California law. That money could have and should have been used to keep our class sizes low, so that we could meet the needs of the students. That is not being fiscally responsible. You would rather pay a fine for not following the law and not paying the minimum amount to teacher salary than pay us what we are rightfully owed. Our students and our teachers deserve better. Following in this line of accountability and fiscal responsibility this year, the district provided each school site a set amount of funds to be spent on study trips. However, at my site, Gus Franklin, we were not made aware of any such funds. No one was made aware of this. Other schools in the district were made aware of these funds through either leadership or admin telling the teachers directly. And therefore, they were able to book and plan field trips. We were not given that opportunity. When I was made aware of this last week, I sent an email to both of my administrators at my site. My questions were met with silence. No response at all. None. No response. We messed up. We goofed up. We knew about the money. We dropped the ball. Nothing. No response. I began talking to my fellow teachers this week to confirm that they didn't know about the money. And I discovered that 2 grade levels are going on a field trip this year, paid out of school site funds, $7,000 for 5th grade and $3,000 or $2,000 for 4th grade. Where is that money for the rest of the grade levels? Where is that money? Why is that money not being equitably dispersed? I urge you to take immediate action to rectify this situation. Again, our kids deserve better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we'd like to call up Mr. Terrence Johnson to the podium, please.
Good evening. I'm Tracy Corbin, and this is Terrence Johnson, and we're here as first-year parents of 2 elementary school students at Morgan Kincaid. And we're here because we've experienced multiple incidents with our children that have allowed us to become too familiar with the office staff and even with the principal. And we've had a couple of meetings with the school district office here. To no avail. Our daughter's hair has been cut, her clothes have been cut by another classmate, and that's on 2 different occasions. But most recently, our son had to witness his father being assaulted by his TK teacher and also her misuse of authority with him, which has left him feeling confused, you know, with being picked up in the afternoons and him having to deal with that. And that's been on more than one occasion. I'll let Terrence elaborate.
On the day of December 13th, I was assaulted by my son's teacher, Miss Maselli. I've had conversations with HR, Carlos Moran twice. I tried to speak with Michael Cross. He has denied a face-to-face conversation with me. I feel that he's being unprofessional. I exhausted my remedies going through the steps of talking to everybody. I received a letter of civility stating that at the time that I was not supposed to, it was a trespassing, excuse me, it was a trespassing, which is illegal due to the fact is I was never informed of this verbally or written, but yet I was trespassed and I had the letter. Also, Miss Maselli said to Miss Cooper and let me see, that she did put her hands on me. As of this time, I'm trying to get a resolution to find out what's taking place as far as her disciplinary. I want to know what's going on. I demand to know what's going on. And like I said, I wanted to sit down with Michael Cross. He's telling, this is the reply that I got, that I'm supposed to email him. You're a public servant. I request to sit down and have a talk with him, because this is serious, because I know that if the situation was reversed and I would have put my hands on her the way she put her hands on me, I'll be in jail. And nobody's telling me, okay, this is what's taking place. I demand to find out. And just like I told Carlos Moran, I feel that she shouldn't be working with any students, because what she's telling my son, and by him being confused, when I go pick him up, she's standing in front of him. And I told her and I asked her and I pleaded with her the second time. There's 3 incidents that took place. The second time I said, please don't do that because you're confusing my son. So on the 3rd or December 13th, she took her finger and put it in his cuff. And her body language was to get in front of him. So when I grabbed him, I came through the gate and grabbed him. And when I turned around, she put her hands on me. I went to the office. I told them I'm making it a report. So whatever I have to do, I want her fired, because I feel like she's not professional. And the way that this has been handled, it's not professional. I'm just getting a run around because this happened December 13th. Here it is 3 months later. I just want answers.
Thank you. Have anything else?
I want answers.
Currently, we can't give answers across the board because you're speaking to us right now. And as board members, we cannot answer a question directly across the
But he knows about it. Carlos Moran knows about it.
Mm-hmm. But what we can do is we take the information that we give you and we hear you. We take that information and then we discuss with the cabinet and the superintendent.
Okay, but my thing was that I asked him through phone calls that he never got back with me. It was an excuse that he's out, he's there. He funeral that he went to for almost like 6 days. When I came in to the office, I was told by his secretary that I'm supposed to go through email. No, it doesn't work that way. I don't work for you. If I request something, and which wasn't out of the ordinary, I just requested a sit down like the 2 times I had with Moran.
Mhm.
So what's the difference between him and Moran? I understand the job situation, job titles, but still, he's a servant. He's a public servant. I already talked to Ms. Cooper. I already talked to Moran twice. So I'm going through the steps.
And right now you're speaking to the board. So as the board, we hear you and then we go into discussion with him.
So what's going to take place after this?
Right now, I'm not at liberty to say. However, we take the information that you just gave us and then we go and we discuss it with him.
Okay, so from this point, how many days that's going to lapse till somebody get back with me? Because like I said, I want to know what's going on.
Someone will get back with you. I can't say how many days. I can say that someone will get back with you.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, next, Madam President, we'd like to call Maria Rivera to the podium.
Good evening, board members, Mr. Cross, Dr. Doisen. I'm here again tonight, and I'm here because I care. And I get really nervous being up here, but tonight I just wanted to come and just want to say thank you for the resources that we have been receiving. We got the Heidi songs, and the kids really love them, and they dance and sing and spell the song. So it's a really, really amazing resource. The other resource that we got was the TPT, and those are just really good resources that really help to support our kids. So I really want to come and say thank you. And I spoke to Carol about it earlier today as well. And I'm also so excited to hear that a job description has been created and agreed upon between the district and CSEA. So yay. And I hope to see it posted soon. So I'm really thankful so that we can hopefully start the new school year with what I call our permanent people, because believe me, those kids establish and get attached to their people that they're around and who they feel comfortable with. And I had a little conversation with Carol, and she also informed me that she's looking into a TK program for us for next school year, and that's really exciting. Eventually, all of our TK students in Adelanto will be TKs, all of them. They will be 3 years old coming in, turning almost 4. So we need to really get ready with the appropriate age-appropriate resources for them so that they can be successful. There are potty training issues. Some young children come and they're really, really, really abusive, not only to each other, but to students. So we need support, guidance, and direction as to what do we do. I mean, last year I had a really rough year that I probably could have taken more days off, but I didn't. And I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, my poor babies were literally physically, emotionally abused by another child. And I just found out I could have probably called CPS on that child. And I'm like, how did I not know that? But she did. I had a really supportive principal. And then Carol Colburn came in towards the end of the year. Our TK report card needs to be updated. Some skills that are on there are not age appropriate. So I talked to Carol and I said, can we meet? Can we get that support from our district to make it more age appropriate? And then last but not least, I would like to personally invite you to visit my classroom. I can meet you in my classroom anytime after school in the evenings. I live 3 minutes away. Just show you my classroom. If we can provide all our TK students with the best resources, curriculum, a rich, loving and positive, playful environment, then we can really get them, to a good head start. And that's what it's meant to be, to provide them with a really good foundation in the early years. And thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Next, Madam President, we'd like to call up Erica Silva to the podium.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, cabinet members, fellow classified staff, and teachers. My name is Erica Silva. I'm a paraprofessional at Mesa Linda Middle School. Members of the board, I come to you tonight first to thank you once again for approving the Para Educator Conference on April 4th through the 6th. There are 14 spots, and I'm grateful to say I received one of them. Out of 14 sites, 11 paras in total from each site were selected. That left 3 open spots. There were a number of paras who still wanted to attend, but they were denied the opportunity and told only 1 per site. It saddens me that one of our neighboring district school sites, their paras were being told, we encourage as many paras to attend. This is such a wonderful opportunity for us paras to be on fire again or increase our knowledge in other areas. This conference is extremely beneficial to all. I emailed the director of the SPED department on February 1st, asking if we would be able to get hotel rooms, even if it were 2 paras to a room. I was denied because it's in close proximity, which is the city of Ontario. Although this is true of the closeness, I believe that some key factors haven't been brought to light, such as the conference's doors open at 7 a.m. So to get there on time, I'm thinking I'll have to leave my house around 5 a.m., which is peak hours of traffic going down the hill. The conference end time is 5 p.m. So once again, the peak hours of traffic coming up the hill. The conference time is 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. with give or take possibly an hour lunch. So let's say we're at the conference for 9 hours in total without calculating drive time and peak hours of traffic. That's a pretty long day for those of us attending the conference for being in such close proximity. This conference is a 3-day event. The first and second day are both 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and the last day is 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. Before I finish my 3 minutes of fame, I would like to point out that my school site, Mesa Linda Middle School, highly took me into consideration by offering to pay for a hotel stay for me for 2 nights so that I would not have to rush down the hill in traffic or sit on the freeway in traffic coming up the hill after 9 hours. But unfortunately, we were unable to get the approval submitted in time for tonight's board agenda. I still would truly like to thank Dr. Kammer, Mr. Forbes, Becky Nisio, and Lori McMillan for trying to make it happen. I know it's too late now to approve any rooms for the paras. However, we have this exciting opportunity next year. I would like to recommend Cabinet, Special Ed Department, and the Finance Department to work together to find any specialized funding reserved for conferences to provide lodging for its paraprofessionals. Thank you so much for your time. Please enjoy the rest of your evening and drive safely.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else?
Yes, Madam President, we'd like to welcome Mr. Jared Harden. Is he, do you see him on Zoom, Mr. Sinatra?
I do not see them on. Pardon?
Okay.
Yes, there
then-
it is. I see him now.
Is he on Zoom?
Yes.
Okay.
Asking them to unmute now.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, before I start and you run the clock, can I give a shout out to somebody on the dais? Would that be okay? Is Carlos, I haven't seen Carlos
Yes.
Moran. Is he here? Mr. Moran?
No, he's not here.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna do it anyway. So I was at a school conference this weekend in Monterey. There was a group of us from Melva Davis. And while there, a massive rainstorm knocked down trees and cut down the power for the entire city. And only emergency power was available. There was no cell service, no internet, no major food source, nothing. This lasted for over 24 hours. But Mr. Carlos Moran stayed with us and made sure that we had everything we needed. It wasn't a dire circumstance, but it was nice to know that he had our backs. So from all of us that were there, we want to say thank you very much to Mr. Moran. But since he's not here, I'm going to go from gratitude to attitude. So if a parent has reached out to me multiple times and received 0 response, my principal would be all over me demanding accountability. That same parent reached out to our admin or principal multiple times and received no response. You, the board, and cabinet will be all over them demanding accountability. My question is who's holding you guys accountable? I had a simple question that needed to be answered. I went through the proper channels with ADTA to try and get an answer from district office. Nothing happened. I asked my admin to follow through on my behalf. Nothing. 4 tries over the course of 3 weeks to finally get an answer. And this is admin. And it's not just my school, it's district wide, other sites as well. All of you up there in front of me on the dais are been identified as not responding. Also from business personnel, academic personnel, services and personnel. All are guilty. Now, I can't speak for everyone, but I can tell you that when I reach out and get ignored, it makes me feel insignificant, like I don't matter. People don't always remember what you do or say, but they will remember how you make them feel. Okay, and I haven't always been a teacher. I spent just shy of 4 years in the United States Marine Corps and close to another 20 in a very competitive industry. Now, admittedly, I decided way too late in life to change careers so that I could be a positive steward for God's littlest children. But one thing that was clear to me throughout my time in the real world is that a successful business needs strong leaders. What does a strong leader look like? There's direction, there's follow through, and communication. I'm not seeing very much of that from the district. How difficult is it to return a phone call or respond to an email? I even mentioned it last year at the liaison meeting. Nothing happened. Speaking of which, when is the next liaison meeting? We've heard nothing since late autumn. Aren't they supposed to be every month? This is just another example of no follow through and no communication. I can go on and on about programs or meetings that just go nowhere and that are waste of time and money and resources, but I've only got 3 minutes. So let me wrap this up. I apologize. So I come to you tonight, not to ask for more money. No, what I'm coming to tonight for costs the district nothing. What I'm asking for is respect for the feeling that we matter to you. Now, I'm just an average teacher. So if I decide to go to another district next year, Melvin Davis will be just fine without me. But eventually, with the lack of direction, the blasé, complacent, and superior attitudes that the board and district managers sometimes show to all of us by not even giving us the courtesy of a return email or phone call, eventually this will lead to far better teachers than I leaving the district. And that's going to help hurt the kids in the long run. So we all talk about wanting a better for our district, but if you want better, you need to be better. Hold yourself to the same expectations that you have for those throughout your district. Follow through and do what you say you're going to do and respond to the inquiries of your people. Even if you don't have the answer, at least let us know that we're heard. Part of me says, calm down, Jared. Everyone's just trying their best. But then I ask, are they trying their best or doing the best that they choose to do? Good is not good enough when better is expected. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam President, we have one more speaker, Ms. Jessica Traeger. Mr. Sinatra, do you see her on Zoom?
Yes, and I'm asking them to unmute now.
Thank you.
Hello, board members, Mr. Kraus, physician or teachers. My name is Jessica Traeger, and I am again coming in front of the board in regards to the continuous issues with inconsistent busing for my children. After doing research myself, it's obvious on the reason why the district cannot retain bus drivers. It's the same reason why the district will soon lose many skilled other experienced teachers. It's the pay. The pay for bus drivers within the Adelanto School District, according to EdJoin, is between $3 to $7 per hour less than other areas within the Inland Empire. Some of the positions here within the high desert. I find myself every morning wondering, waking up, if I'm going to have a ride for my kids to go to school or not. With the current cost of living increase that everyone is facing, it's no wonder why the district cannot retain experienced staff, also bus drivers. I also wanted to bring up an issue. My son goes to Melva Davis, and he has several times within the last few weeks been bullied. We've been working with administration in the counseling office, but one thing that I do not feel comfortable sending my son to school, knowing that all of the campus security is being sent to Mesa Linda. And the fact of is, it seems like things are getting worse at Melva Davis as the year goes by, and my son is continuing to get bullied, and we have no campus security there. So I'm just wondering when the district is going to show me that my children and their safety and well-being is their first priority. My son's already stated to myself and the school counselors that he feels unsafe at school. And, you know, on another note, luckily I've had a group, great set of parents who have teamed up to assist me in days when I'm unable to leave work and drop the kids off or pick them up. This is also now the same group of parents who is also joining me and applying to other parent choice schools within other districts because we do not feel like our kids are a priority within your district. Thank you guys for listening to me tonight, and have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
That concludes public comments, Madam President, this evening.
Thank you. Moving on to section 10, cabinet reports. Mr. Kraus.
Yes, thank you. This evening, I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Dwisen to give us some updates on academic services.
All right. Good evening, President Love French, Board of Trustees, AESD staff, and community. Good evening. I'm pleased to share some of our highlights from academic services. So first of all, a big congratulations to the Melva Davis staff, administration, staff, and students on being designated a school to watch. That's a rigorous and a great honor for that school, and we are very proud of them and their accomplishments. I'd also like to say congratulations to students from Victoria Megathan and Melva Davis for advancing to History Day, the state competition. So we have a total of 31 students who have advanced from the county competition to the state competition. So we are very excited, so proud of our students. Also, congratulations again. I love this great news and hearing our students shining and the hard work that goes behind that with our teachers and our staff at the schools. But congratulations again to Melva Davis Science Club for competing in a contest hosted by the Mojave Water Agency. They were tasked with creating a front and backyard landscape that was water friendly. So they placed second in the competition and brought home $1,000 check to their school. So wow, I'm going to have to go figure out what that landscape was and bring that back. We are excited. Academic services team has been hard at work to offer professional development next week for our teachers. Even though it's spring break, we have many signed up for that, which shows the dedication in language arts and math on Monday and Tuesday, and that will be hosted at Mesa Linda Middle School. Right when we get back from spring break, we have CASP testing that starts April 10th to May 12th. So we're looking forward to seeing how much our students have grown this year. So a few major events to keep on our radar coming up in May. On May 20th, we'll be having our reclassification ceremony to celebrate our English learner students who have classified to fluent English. May 4th, our reclassification ceremony at Gus Franklin. I read that wrong. And then our Writers Art Fair is on May 20th. And that's great. We're going to have students with published books and art. And I'm just very excited. We're going to have some performances from our students. So it's going to be a great day. We're looking forward to both of those days to celebrate our students. As we move forward with supporting our students in multiple ways, we've been working very hard in academic services between all of our divisions to build systems and structures of supports for our students with several different action plans, one of them being climate and culture aligned to our LCAP and our school plans to meet the needs of the whole child. So this past week, I was able to lead a group comprised of administrators and teachers. We took just a few to start in the first cohort. We had staff from George, Eagle Ranch, and Westside Park to the Ron Clark Academy in Atlanta, Georgia. And before we left, I challenged the group to have an open mind and additionally focus on what we see to build on the great work that we're already doing in our district. It was one of the best visits I've ever seen. And so I would say that as a group, we walked away with so much to enhance our work to meet the needs of our wonderful students that we serve daily. And we will be in the future taking cohorts from sites. And so I'm just excited. I look forward to presenting more about that work and what we're doing to support our climate and build on our climate and culture here in Adelanto. So with that, Mr. Kraus, that is academic services.
Thank you, Dr. Dwizon, and President French, if you will note.
I'd just like to note that trustee Christine Turner joined us at 9 o'clock.
Great, thank you, and good evening, Madam President, members of the board, members of the community with us this evening, whether you're in person or on Zoom. Just a few quick updates. I did also want to, as you heard Mr. Harden state, there was a contingent of us that went up to Monterey for the Melva Davis Schools to Watch recognition. It's such a wonderful recognition for them to have. Very proud of the team over there. And I was at a different hotel than what their team. They were at the Marriott, which apparently has generators. I was at the Portola, which did not have generators, and they did not have emergency backup lights either. So we were in the dark for about 24 to 48 hours, which was a very interesting experience in amongst itself. But we survived, and I was glad that the recognition ceremony on Friday morning was able to go forward with generator lights. So excited to have been there and been a part of that. And thank you to all the Melva Davis team that made that possible. I did want to say also, as a nerd that I am, Pi Day is today, 3.14. So those of you that don't know what the number 3.14 is, you should go check it out. And hopefully all of our students out there that are listening, actually they should be in bed by now, but check out what Pi is. And I know all of our math teachers are excited to always celebrate Pi Day. So today was Pi Day. A lot of pies went out there as well. Not really, pies, but whipped cream and things. A lot of fun around the district today celebrating that. It is Women's History Month. And so I wanted to shout out to all of our staff members that help make this district possible. We recognize all of our women in the month of March, and you shouldn't really have a month to celebrate anything. Everybody should be celebrated every day. But March happens to be Women's History Month. So we want to thank you for all the hard work you do. We also, let's see here, we have spring break coming up. And so we're excited that, for that, I know a lot of people are looking forward to having a week off. Our students and families are, and our staff members are, to get some rest and rejuvenation. And then finally, this evening, Madam President, members of the board, I just want to say thank you to our colleagues with ADTA and CSEA for the collaboration that they continue to have with our district admin team. We are in negotiations, as you've heard this evening, and I'm very pleased that it's moving forward in a positive manner. And I just want to shout out to their teams, the negotiating teams for both ADTA and CSEA and their exec boards, because without them, it wouldn't be possible to keep negotiating and moving forward. And so I just want to say that I'm looking forward to closing out this year at some point, and I appreciate all the comments that they do bring to us at our board meetings and behind the scenes. So with that, Madam President, that concludes my comments this evening.
Thank you. Moving right along to Section 12, adoption of the minutes. We're on 11. Oh, cabinets. Oh, I just skipped the whole section. Okay. Section 11, staff reports and presentation. I would like to thank you. I know that I am kind of sick, but I want to thank everybody for bearing with me. 11, staff reports and presentation, Mr. Cross. Yes. Mhm. Can I get a motion to extend the meeting until? Okay, get a motion to extend the meeting till 11?
Benz, I motion to extend the meeting up to 11 p.m.
Can I get a second, please?
Trustee Turner, a second.
Ms. LeVey, can you call for the vote, please?
Trustee Webster.
Webster, I.
Trustee Turner.
Turner, aye.
Trustee Benz.
Benz, I.
Trustee La French.
Left French, aye. Motion passed 4-0.
Great. Thank you, Madam President. This time, we'd like to call Dr. Dwizon and her team up to the podium where they will be presenting on the textbook adoption process this evening. So this is our history, social science textbook adoption. And with that, I know that Ms. Carol Coburn, I want to thank her as well for helping to co-present with Dr. Dwizon this evening on the textbooks.
All right, good evening, Board President French, board members and staff and community. This evening, we would like to bring forth our recommendation from which is representative of all of our stakeholders in this process for the history social science adoption. So I'd like to, first of all, just thank the board again for your involvement in the adoption process. I believe this is probably one of the most smoothest adoption processes that I've had in my career. And that's because it involved everyone, all stakeholders. So we began, this is just a quick review of the timeline that we had presented to you back in the fall, seems like so long ago, but back in the fall when we had our board workshop. You heard from the two different publishers. And so here we are kind of right toward the end of that, on track and on schedule with today on Pi Day, presenting to the board our recommendation. So this slide represents the history social science adoption team and the purpose of that team. So the history social science adoption team was comprised of teachers volunteered across from the district. All schools were represented, all grade levels were represented. Additionally, we wanted to make sure that special education was represented and our dual immersion was represented within this team. It was a very comprehensive team. And I would just like to take the time to thank them while I'm up here for their time and their involvement in this process from the beginning. The purpose of this team was to analyze what the two programs had to offer from a teacher's perspective. It included student voice in that perspective. You'll see that in just a moment. They're also were charged with informing their stakeholders. So those team members took it back to their staff who had the opportunity to also present to them about what they saw and what they piloted in the classroom. And then that brings us to the purpose tonight, bringing their recommendations forth for the adoption this evening. So the program adoption and criteria details. So as we stated before, but I just want to summarize these two. The program adoption, we wanted to make sure that they were digital as well as hard copy materials. So our teachers expressed we need both. We want the books and we want to be able to access everything digitally at the same time. We want to make sure that the program that we purchase involves professional development for our teachers. So our teachers express the need. We want to be able to not just use the program components effectively, but also make sure that we're teaching the standards according to what should be taking place also. We wanted to make sure that it was a TK-8 program, that it was fluid, that it was developmentally appropriate for all grade levels and went through the process for both programs. And we wanted to make sure that it had dual immersion component to make sure we're meeting the needs of our students in our dual immersion program. The criteria for evaluating, we wanted to make sure that it aligned with the standards, that it was organized in a way that made sense. We wanted to make sure that assessment was embedded, that it was provided universal access, which means that if I'm below grade level or above grade level, that the program had components in there to meet the needs of all of our students. And then also instructional planning and support. I'll be honest, any program you get, there's going to be shortcomings, there's going to be great things, there's going to be challenges. But really, how are we planning? How are we going to use this program to meet the needs of our students? So I just want to just say that we had two programs to choose from. We had the Savas and we had the McGraw-Hill program. And at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Coburn to talk about the different components of the pilot.
Good evening. And again, thank you for supporting us through from the very beginning, that first meeting up until today and beyond. So the first program that we piloted in our schools was Savas, My World. And throughout that piloting, the teachers were looking at the components that are listed here. So the content alignment, the inquiry alignment, literacy skills, which we know is so important with history, and bringing in that, that language arts focus so kids can be able to read and write while learning the content. Access and equity, so making sure that our lowest learners are getting what they need and that extra support. Maybe they have readers that are at lower levels for those kids that are struggling in the reading, so that learning the content is not, their reading level is not a barrier to learning the content. Assessment, we wanted to see how the assessment was appropriate to the grade level, and looking at the types of questions and stuff that the kids were asked. And then, of course, the teacher resources. What resources does the teacher to pull from, knowing that you have different kids in your class that need different things? You'll see the overall rating of this program was a 4.25 on an average for SAVAS. We also had teachers talk with their kids. Did you like the program? You know, what are some of the things that you liked about it? What didn't you like about it? And so an overall percentage of students who recommended SAVAS was 52%. Some of the weaknesses and the strengths pointed out by the team. So some of the strengths, it did have multiple perspectives about the historical concept. It had engaging multimedia, raps, songs, and quests. It had access to primary resources, which our kids really need to be going back to draw from the primary resources as a secondary source to back up what they're learning about. Easy digital access and flow for both teachers and students. It had an audio component. Reading to students was pretty good. And it was in English, but the Spanish wasn't so great. Some weaknesses, the assessments were lacking and not appropriate for grade level. TK through 2 is not read to them. There weren't any pictures. There was too many answer choices. And the 6th through 8th grade odd wording and the gotcha types of questions where the kids couldn't figure out exactly what they were asking. The videos were not as engaging. The person was standing and delivering the information. The differentiated instruction components were weak. So during the lesson, the teacher had maybe one way to teach it instead of multiple different ways, so that their English learners would get, you know, what they needed during that lesson. Their higher challenge kids would get what they need, and maybe their lower level would get what they need as well. Lesson sequencing and chunking was not conducive to learning or teaching, meaning that there were too many lessons within the unit. Thank you. And then assessing the students on a lot of content. The dual immersion program also lacked graphics. It was difficult to utilize in Google Classroom, and the audio was robotic. Here's some of the feedback from the students. So the students were an important part of this because it's not just the teacher perspective, but we wanted to see what the students thought. So the good things, they said it was very colorful and engaging. The textbook can be read to students. They liked that feature. It had multiple sources of information. But on the other hand, the digital access was not easy. So getting into SAVAS and using SAVAS online was difficult for students. It had minimal hands-on activities, and we know that we have a lot of learners that their learning style is hands-on. So it didn't really meet the needs of all different learning styles. And too much information within the textbook and the workbook. So when they opened up the book, they were disengaged because of all the print that they saw on the page. The second program that we looked at was McGraw-Hill Impact. And so they looked at those same content areas in McGraw-Hill. As you can see, they had an overall rating of a 4.39, which was a little bit higher than SAVAS. And then the percentage of students who recommended McGraw-Hill, 75.7%. So 25% higher than SAVAS. And that's from a student perspective. The strengths of this program, it connects well with our Wonders and ELA standards. So Reading Wonders is the curriculum that we use in kindergarten through 6th grade with students. So, you know, most of our grade levels It kind of works with their program that they're already using. Multiple writing opportunities. So we know that within our language arts block, we usually don't have a lot of time or extra time to teach writing. So we can be teaching writing during history time as well. And just there's lots of opportunities for them to do that. The assessments were more accessible and direct. Accessibility, meaning reading the text independently. There's videos and pictures. They can navigate the online platform a lot easier. And the content had a lot of depth. So not just surface level knowledge of what concept they're trying to teach you, but it dove a little bit deeper so that you can get their critical thinking really started. Some weaknesses, the audio was lacking, so it was a bit robotic. So we know that, teachers are going to have to read it, or maybe a stronger reader can read it to a group. The TK through 5th grade had 2 books, a text and a journal, and for students instead of one that combined these. And then Google Classroom integration had some consistent issues with this, but McGraw-Hill states that they are fixing that problem. They do know about that. And it had been an issue for science and history platforms as well. And there was many steps to get to the assignment in Google Classroom, and unfortunately the scores did not transfer over easily. So they are working on those components. Some pros, multiple perspectives and writing opportunities again, and this is from the students. And students talking about writing opportunities, that's a big one, because usually they struggle with writing. So it was easier for them to find the information, and way more visually appealing and interactive. Had a lot of videos, so they could go right to the video to understand more. The text was more leveled and guided for kids, so kids could read it more independently. Assessments were more direct, less fluff, and the lower grades had pictures to help assist the kids. The cons, there was a little bit less interactive and less visuals and songs as compared to Savas. The students, again, had multiple workbooks. And then right now, because the Google Classroom connection isn't currently working, that was a con. However, they do state that they are working on this issue. So here's a side-by-side of the two. So as you can see, McGraw-Hill was favored overall rating and by the students. We had several public preview opportunities as well. So our Board of Trustees had an opportunity to preview the materials. We had our parents come in, community members as well. Our non-teacher or district employees came in because they wanted to know what all those books were. So we said, come on in, take a look. And so they really kind of went through, and other non-teachers as well. And then you can see all of the different opportunities that they had to preview materials. So the history, social science adoption team and the district team recommendations. So the history social science adoption team voted, and the majority of the members voted for McGraw-Hill Impact. The teachers also, we asked them for their vote and opinion. Teachers from all the school sites were given the opportunity to vote for the program that they wanted to recommend. And again, overall rating, 81.9% from teachers voted for McGraw-Hill.
So we also know that with any new curriculum or any new information that teachers need, that professional development goes along with that. And so our academic services team, I'd like to give a shout out to our coordinators, Vanessa Friedman, Lori Latimer, for their work in this adoption process. But we have a very comprehensive and robust plan for professional development as it relates to the history, social science before you, but just all of our subject areas as well, making sure that we're doing more integration of materials. And then so this concludes our report for this evening. It is our recommendation, the History Social Science Adoption Committee recommends to the Board of Trustees that we adopt McGraw-Hill Impact as our TK8 History Social Science curriculum.
Thank you. Trustees, do you have any questions? Yes, I do have a couple questions. I'm happy that we involved the students. Could you, how many students participated in this process?
Sorry. So each of the classroom teachers spent some time with their students, after the pilot, really asking them. So I would say we probably had at least 17 classes worth of students who voiced and gave their recommendations.
So these were verbal recommendations and not written recommendations. You don't know what students?
I don't have the actual names of every student because it was a group where the teacher collected oral feedback from their class and then provided that feedback to the committee.
Okay, so the students did not get an opportunity.
Not
to
not individual.
Talk with the committee.
Yeah.
Okay. What about parent participation? How many parents did you have participate?
We didn't have a great turnout for parents, even though we had all those opportunities out. I would say we probably had about 10 parents came. I know that Miss Wendy Davies was working most of those parent nights or parent opportunities. And she had a chance to really talk and encourage, the parents. Some parents didn't want to fill out the form at the end, but they did come and look. We did give them the online so that they could present their, recommendation online as well, but we didn't get a real turnout as far as feedback. But about 10 parents came total.
So how did you reach out to the parents?
So the school sites, and we had a flyer that had all the different opportunities on it that we sent out in Parent Square to get the parents in. And then at each of the school sites, they were asked also to encourage parents to come and take a look at the books that were on display. We had Melva Davis had a display, and I don't remember, let's see.
Oh, I believe that there was a display, but my
Yeah.
question is, did we do an all call to the parents whenever we met to have the parents participate?
We did
Looking at the books?
we did use the Parent Square app that has that capability in it as well.
Okay, so we did do an all call to the
Yes.
parents. Okay.
Yes.
I was a little shocked that this was coming to the board as soon as it did. I thought it was going to be a process and that the board will be updated in your collaboration and just give the board a brief update as to where you were and how you were doing this. So I was a little thrown off guard when I saw this on the agenda, the presentation, and then to be approved tonight at the same time. So I'm a little thrown off on that. In terms of who served on the committee, the adoption committee?
I don't have the list of the teachers, but we did have all sites represented. And I can see if I can find it real quick for you.
In Halton did you meet?
Let's see. I know that Vanessa Friedman is online as well. She might be able to respond faster. Anthony, could you see if Vanessa Friedman is online?
She is, and I'm asking her to unmute now.
Thank you. She has a lot of the data right there in front of her as well.
Good evening.
Vanessa, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. So let me take a look. If you go to the timeline, that shows when we met as a committee. So Carol, if you want to back up to the first slide. So at the beginning of the pilot, we met for some training for the SAVIS. And then you can see, excuse me, that the teachers piloted in their classrooms. And then after their pilot time, we met as a group and had some great conversations. That was a 2-hour follow-up, I believe. And then teachers also had some more training for McGraw-Hill. And then after we piloted McGraw-Hill, we came back and had another 2-hour conversation regarding the process, looking at the data, hearing from our pilot teachers about what was working, what students were saying. And then I believe the other question was how many teachers? Was that the question?
How many teachers? And I think she wanted to know kind of which teachers.
I wanted to
Right.
know how
Sure.
many participated in the committee.
How many participated in the committee total?
I believe it was 31. I had we had two from AES, Columbia, Braddock, El Mirage, let's see, Eagle Ranch. We had a big number of teachers from George. We had a teacher from Gus. We had 4 or 5 teachers from Melva Davis, 2 from Morgan Kincaid, 3 from Mesa Linda, 1 from Ted Vick. We had another teacher at Victoria McGathan who I got to speak with, Mr. Chow and his students I spoke with regarding their experiences, and then a few from West Creek and then Westside Park. So I think it was 31 total.
We did send out that invitation to all teachers, so all teachers were invited to participate.
And we had students from all grade levels participating in
Correct.
this? Okay.
Correct.
And teachers from all grade
TK
levels.
through 8th grade.
And how well did you, I know we only had 2 publications to consider. I reviewed the material and I was really concerned with some of the material that I read, that I saw in both publications. I didn't see a lot of accuracy in some of the material, and that concerned me. And I would like to, I want books that our kids and our parents and our teachers can really relate to and the kids can get excited about. Not a lot of trickery, and I saw a lot of that in that publication. I know it's not much to choose from, but and that goes to show that I really would have liked, and we can't make parents come, but we have to make it inviting for them to come because they're the ones that's going to do the homework with their children. And they need to be familiarized with the curriculum that we're using here. And we want our students to succeed. And we have adopted curriculum in the past that some of it just sat on the shelf. A lot of it did not get used. This is over $1 million and it's on the agenda for that. I know that looking here, I see that you've met, according to the timeline, but I really wanted the board to be more involved and ask questions and it presented in terms of maybe a workshop. Okay. I don't know how the rest of the board feel about this, but I feel that history and science, social science is curriculum adoption is important because we're going to keep this thing for 10 years. And so it's important that we get all stakeholders involved in it. So that'll be my comments for right now. That's all I have for right now.
Well, I know that trustee Turner is thorough. I was not as thorough, but I did go through the McGraw-Hill, seeing with my daughter, and of course I looked at the fifth fifth grade because that's my wheelhouse. I liked it. I didn't read all the text. I just looked through it when I could. So I don't know what trustee Turner saw. I mean, but again, because I wasn't as thorough, I know she is thorough. So, but it's nice. I'm done.
Okay. I just have a little bit to say about it. I wish that I could see for TK to be more of a creative curriculum, more of not a lower version of kindergarten. So for me, when I look at the textbook, when it comes to TK, it's not something that fits for TK. TK should have something that is more hands-on. That's how 3 and 4-year-olds learn. They don't learn with a textbook like that. So I know that as we're moving to TK being involved in or already involved in the K-8 system, that it's not going to look like Head Start. I just wish that we would be able to make it be something that's fit for them. And that's just like the way I see our classroom set up. I know that I have already spoken to say that I wish they would set up with housekeeping areas and dramatic play areas and block areas, things that's how they learn. They will, a 4-year-old will never be a 5-year-old. It wouldn't, TK and kindergarten are not the same. That's all I have to say. Thank you for your presentation. Yes, thank you. Moving on to 11.02, am I on target?
Yes, Madam President, absolutely. Thank you so much. I will
Business
be.
services.
Yes. I'll be going up to the podium. Sam? Sir? Very good. Clicker. All right. All right, good evening, members of the board, members of the community that are with us this evening, and members of the Zoom land out there. Appreciate you staying with us to hear about our second interim financial report. So the second interim financial report is the report, one of the reports that we have to do every year. We have our adopted budget in June. We have our first interim that comes in December, and every March, the board will always see in the community our second interim report. And then the cycle keeps continuing. So this is a snapshot in time that records all of our revenues and expenditures from July 1st of last year, all the way up to January 31st of this year. And so what we do is we present this to the board. We work with our auditors. We work with the county to ensure that all of our numbers are as accurate as they can be based on the known information that we have up until January 31st. So I wanted to give a shout out to Mr. Clemish, who was very instrumental with his team as well as to helping compile this information, and Mr. Mohammed Islam, who's also been working with our district as a pinch hitter for our CBO position, which we're currently flying. So hopefully we'll have that position filled soon. But Mr. Clemish and Mr. Islam and their team in fiscal services have been instrumental in helping us with this report. There we go. All right. Some highlights this evening. Here you can see we're going to talk about the second interim. I will do my best to get through it as briefly as possible. We have some current budget assumptions. Update you on that. We'll look at our multi-year projections and our unrestricted and restricted, and then next steps about what's going on as far as reporting is concerned. So here's some highlights. You may recall that the certification is how we are able to pay our bills. We have a multi-year projection. So the current year and the 2 out years. A positive certification means that we can meet our obligations in the current year and the 2 out years. You want to always see a positive certification because it means we have enough money to pay our bills. The other qualifications are qualified budget, which means you can only pay for 2 years, and a negative budget, which means you can't pay any of your bills in this current year, the out 2. So happy to present that we have a positive certification. We have our revenues there listed. I'll talk about that in a minute. We talk about our average daily attendance at 89%. We talk about our federal revenues. We'll look at that in a minute on the numbers on that. We have a lot of grants and ESSER money and other grants that we've been receiving. We have an unrestricted ending fund balance as well that we'll talk about in a second. So those are just some of the highlights this evening that we'll be talking about. So one of the things we always do is we look at the current budget assumptions. You can see here, we have the current year, 22-23, we have 23-24 and 24-25. That is called a multi-year projection. But you can see there what the COLA is. We see what the percentage we have to pay into retirement for STRS, for certificated, and we have PERS for classified. So you see the percents that the district has to pay in every year. It fluctuates, except STRS is holding steady right now at the current assumptions. We see our lottery, we get about $237 per ADA, 170, that's unrestricted, and then 67 is restricted. We have our enrollment projections there, and then our average daily attendance you can see down there right now. And until we do it in the out years, we just normally report what we currently have. All right. So here is the current year's projected revenues and expenditures as of January 31st. So you can see here the snapshots. On the revenue side, our main categories of revenues, you always see our state revenue, LCFF, our federal. There's other state there that we get, such as special ed. And then we got local, which is a lot of interest or lease payments or other things that we get in there. And then we have a total of about 167 million coming in. And you can see there, I want to point out, I'll point out in a minute as well, our federal revenue is extremely high because we get a lot of that money that we have to recognize, such as ESSER funds, COVID money. There's still a lot of that coming in. On the expenditure side, we have our main categories. You can see here, certificated, classified, benefits. Those are the top three in any district, not only ours. Then we have our books and supplies, services, capital outlay, which is mainly facilities, things that we do, or like buses, things like that is in capital outlay. Another outgo, we have to transfer money. So for instance, the County of San Bernardino does educate some of our students. An example of other outgo is when we pay them tuition to educate our students because we don't have the necessary programs to do so. So that's an example of outgo. And then transfers out if we have other obligations that we transfer out in. So our total right now expenditures, you're looking at 141 million for this current year. And again, that will fluctuate when we do our estimated actuals in June and we present the adopted budget, proposed adopted budget. So here you can see, again, we wanted to talk about the biggest bulk of our funding. Our expenditures go towards salaries and benefits. You can see there at the current situation, we are at 81.4%. So out of 100% of our total expenditures, 81.4% is how much we spend in the bulk of salaries and benefits. And so I added this slide just to show you that that's the total percentage that we have. And that fluctuates for districts across the state. No two districts are the same on that percentage right there. So just wanted to put that number in so it's memorialized in the second interim for this year. And here we have a snapshot of our unrestricted. And so that's what we look at when we want to know how we're doing. We look at the total package as well, but unrestricted ending fund balance is what we want to look at and pay attention to. So here you see our revenues at the very top line there going across right now projected. Again, that could fluctuate based on many factors with the governor at the May revise. We have contributions. That is always going to be there, and it is red because it is a contribution. So what a contribution is that if we have a program that does not support itself, or the state does not pay us enough money, or the federal government does not pay us enough money, we have to take general fund money and support that program. And as you can imagine, the largest percentage of the contribution, unfortunately, goes to our special education programs because the federal government, and I will say this till the day I die, federal government and the state government do us a disservice in every district in the state of California by not funding special education as it should be funded. And so it's on districts to have to make contributions to support our special education families and our students. And we will continue to do so for the end of time. But I just wanted to point that out. That's where you see that contribution. It's a normal cycle that keeps going until somebody somewhere says, hey, we're going to fund special ed. Total revenues there at the bottom on line 3 there. And then we have our expenditures. This is unrestricted now. This is not combined. We have our excess and deficit. And I want to point out in fiscal year 23-24 why it's red, because as Dr. Wisen's team just presented to you, we're going to be spending some of our reserves on textbooks. And we have a video project. Mr. Sinatra and his team are working on security cameras district-wide. So the goal is, if everything comes together right, Mr. Sinatra, his team will be looking at bringing a company, we'll bring it before the board to potentially have working security cameras at every school in the district. So that's where you see the deficit, even though it looks like it's deficit spending, which it is because we're spending our reserves, but it's on projects already budgeted. So that's where you see the bulk of that. And then the same thing in fiscal year 24-25 when we're looking to budget. And that number will change as we use our reserves for various identified projects. But right now, I know Mr. Sinatra and his team are excited about potentially getting new security cameras, and Dr. Dwyer and her team about the textbook adoption at some point. Then we have our beginning fund balance. You see there line 6, and then our ending fund balance. And so pay attention to line 7, because that's our ending fund balance. You see 19 million, 13 million, and then 10 million. Now, that's not all unassigned. So if you go to the next slide, I'll show you, because I want to make sure that I break down what our ending fund balance is made up of. So you can see there, the non-spendable, which is our stores. It's our items in the warehouse, about 360,000. We keep it there. We can't spend that. It's for the warehouse and stores. We got one-time assignments. So you see there the 3.8 million. That's our textbook adoption. We have to contribute some to our electric buses that we're getting. 6 more in the queue. Thank you to Lori McMillan and her team. We got a camera project potentially coming as well. And so that's where you see that that's part of that reserve, but we intend to spend it. So it's not in 23-24 in our ending fund balance projected, because we're going to spend it. It'll be gone. Reserve for economic uncertainties. That is our 3% that we are mandated by the state of California to keep. You will always see that there. You will always see that line. So out of that 19 million, for example, 4.2 of it has to be there. We don't have a choice. We cannot not have 3%. If we don't have 3% there, the county's not going to approve us. The state won't approve our budget. So we always have it there. So then we want to look at the projected unassigned. And you can see there, this is the money that has not been allocated to any project or anything at this time. So as you can see there, our projection, 10 million, 10.9, 9.1, and 6 million going across after we've paid all of our bills, after we've put aside money for various expenditures. That's what we have left in our savings account, so to speak, the ending fund balance, unassigned. And so when you see the unassigned there projected, that's where that number comes from. So now you're going to see the restricted, and this is Dr. Dwyer and her team's piggy bank, because, and we have Dr. Ochoa, who's joined us. We're excited that she's joined us because she's going to help us and Dr. Dwyer and her team spend a lot of our categorical restricted monies, Title I, Title II, Title III. ESSERs, the ELOP funds, the learning recovery funds. We just received like 14 million in learning recovery funds. We have a lot of money in restricted. So that's why you see these balances that are abnormally high, because at some point we're going to spend that money. We're actively trying to spend it now, but we want to be strategic and not just spend it for the sake of spending it, but actually have strategic plans for it. And I know Dr. Dwyer and her team have been doing that. So you can see here the restricted ending fund balance of 40 million, 50 million, and 60 million. We keep getting money. I'm not complaining about that. The feds keep giving money out and the state does too. And so that's why you'll see that number. Unfortunately, they're not waiting until we spend what they gave us to begin with, and they're giving all districts even more. And it's mainly because of COVID. When we were out for that year, it affected our students so badly. And they're really putting a lot of money towards learning recovery as an example. And so I know Dr. Dwyer and her team are really looking at that. I know Mr. Moran and the HR team are looking at how we can utilize restricted funding to hire additional help in the classrooms, whether it's paras to help our teachers in those classrooms that have higher class sizes. We're looking to put paras in all of our classrooms. We're looking to hire more classified staff. We heard this evening about security. We're also looking to see if we can potentially hire more security guards at all of our schools to help alleviate some of the loads there from a parent this evening at Melba Davis. And so we want to utilize this funding in the way that's allowable by the feds and by the state, and utilize it to the advantage of that it will help all of our students at all of our sites. And so we will be spending that down and bringing before the board different plans to be able to do that. So now you see the general fund budget summary, multi-year projection. You see the total revenues, and a lot of that again is federal revenues that makes it higher, because just so the board knows, our unrestricted generally is around $100 to $105 million. That's where we should be. So you see 167, a lot of that's that federal money and that state money that's coming in, but we're going to spend it. But that's abnormally high. It's not only us, it's every district in the state has that. And you'll still see that till we spend it down. You see our expenditures there because we want to spend down that money. We have excess there, and then our beginning fund balance, and then our ending fund balance. And that's combined. And that's why I broke out earlier the unrestricted and restricted, because if you just look at this, people are going to say, wow, you got $60 million. But we really do not have $60 million to spend that is unrestricted. So I want to make sure that that's clear for everybody out there listening and everybody here with us this evening. The federal money is restricted. We can't just spend it on what we want to spend it on. It has specific purposes that we have to spend it on those things. And Dr. Dwyer and her team can tell you, Carol can tell you, because Carol deals with it every day about how to spend it and making sure that we're in compliance with all of the and there are a lot of requirements on restricted monies. So with that, our next steps, we're looking at budget development. We're already working on the budget for next year. We're already starting to close the books. We'll have the update on the May revise. The governor will come out with his update. He will tell us what he thinks is going on in the state and what he thinks is going to go on next year for the budget for the state. We'll bring the budget adoption to the board in June, like we do every year. And then August, we bring the unaudited actuals. And the unaudited actuals, again, as a reminder, are how we close the school year for this past year. And so with that, thank you very much for your time. And I'll now take any questions the board may have.
I have questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That looks like a lot of money at the ending fund balance on both the restricted and the general fund. So I know you're saying that we're going to spend the money, and when will we see? I guess it's in our LCAP, right? Am I right on that?
There is a lot in the LCAP, but there's also other plans that Dr. Dwight and her team, for instance, the 14 million we just received on learning recovery is a big chunk of money that they're still working on the template for that, I believe. And we'll bring that before the board on how our district hopes to be able to spend a lot of that money as well.
Is that the 300 million that was generated by the state, or is that federal money you're talking about, both federal and state? The state,
a part
of the 300 that Governor Newsom allocated that he didn't give up. He just gave it because of our failing students, our low income students. Is that what you're saying?
So the $14 million learning recovery block grant is specifically a one-time monies given by the state, which is specifically to be used as a result of COVID. So supporting students with learning recovery. So we could, part of that is, as Mr. Kraus had stated, we're waiting on the template to build that plan. We can't really touch that money until the plan is built.
I think I read something that he really didn't have a plan.
We have to have a plan.
We have to have a
We
plan.
have
So
to
if
have
we
a
don't get a
plan.
template from the state, we have to create a plan based on the needs of our students.
Yes, but we are still waiting on guidance because they usually do give us parameters as to what has to be in the plan.
I know that they were talking about LCFF, how it's failing our students in some aspect. Not that what they really wanted to see. I'm just concerned and you know, and I'm just looking at both sides. I'm looking at your side, I'm looking at teacher side. When they see this money here, it's like, yeah, we have to spend it, but
No, I understand. The restricted money, unfortunately, can't be used for ongoing expenditures.
I understand that.
And that is where it's a tough discussion with the state. I can assure the board that I lobby with people at the state level. I met with Assembly Member Juan Carrillo, who's a representative, was here this evening to talk about the budget concerns that districts have and the funding, and a lot of restricted one-time funds, which are great, except they don't help our ongoing expenditures that we have, which is salary and benefits for the most part, as we saw in an earlier slide. But we do want to utilize it for staffing as much as we can in whatever way we can that's allowable.
And I'm happy. I just want to make sure that we have a solid plan for student achievement and bring up, you know, our academic scores for our students. And, you know, it's a lot of money. I feel we could do it. And, but we have to have a good plan.
Absolutely. And I'm confident in Dr. Dwizen and the academic services team. I want to always brag on them. What they work tirelessly to work with our county partners, with our state partners, and with our third-party vendors to ensure that whatever we bring to the board for approval, we believe at the end of the day is going to be a success for our students, but also for our staff. It's about our students, but it's also about ensuring our staff have the tools they need, the PD that they need as well, whether it's classified, management, or certificated. And we want to make sure that we use that money to utilize additional trainings. I'm glad to say that we have additional training next week that we offered voluntarily for our certificated staff next week during spring break, as an example of utilizing funds that we can use to enhance the operations of our district, because the more our staff are educated and supported, then our students are going to get more educated and supported.
That's true. I have one other question.
Yes, ma'am.
On our unrestricted general fund ending balance, we did a percentage of the 3% and what that equates to over the 3 years. What is a projected unassigned, the 10,000, the 9,000, 6,000? What percentage is that?
You go back to that slide. My clicker has died. It bit the dust this evening.
Unrestricted
Right,
general
right,
fund
go back up.
ending fund balance.
Right there, Trustee Turner. You're looking at this slide 8 is on page 8.
Yeah, page 8.
Okay, so the projected unassigned is after we've paid all of our bills. That is the money that the district can bring ideas to the board on how to utilize those funds. And so we want to make sure we always have something in unassigned, because at the end of the day, if that 3%, if we have to use that 3% and we don't have anything else anywhere, then we don't have any cushion. And so that is our cushion. However, we want to make sure that we're also not keeping too big a cushion in there. The state has mandated 10% is the max for every school district in the state, in that unassigned right there for the ending fund balance as far as the reserves. And so we do have our 3% there. You can see at 4 million, 4.2, 4 and 3.9. But again, at the end of the day, that's one of the areas they projected unassigned. And at the adopted budget presentation, it's probably going to be staff's recommendation that we increase our 3% potentially to a different number, maybe 4%, to keep a cushion in there in perpetuity, so that we take some of that unassigned as we move forward and make sure that we have more than just the state mandated in the 3%. And we can do that as long as we have funding in the unassigned balance down there.
We're looking at maybe for the first year, 2022, 23, we're looking at a little over 7%, would you say? Am I right on that?
On the, yes, ma'am.
7.6.
We're under the 10% because otherwise the county would, because one of the things for the board to know is that we actually send the second interim, every budget report to the county first, 2 weeks in advance before the board even sees it, because they have to bless it. They have to say, looks good to us. We agree with your numbers. And if they don't say that, I can't bring it to the board, to be honest with you. And then we send it back to them after tonight's meeting and they bless it again if they have that, if they do that. And so they'll send a letter to the board president and the board and say, we concur with the numbers. And there's always a letter that comes out. And so they'll address anything that, for instance, if we're at like 15%, they would say, you can't do that.
That's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Turner.
Do you have anything to say, Trustee Benz?
I just have a question. With the banks that are failing, will that affect the school districts and the states? How do you can you kind of guess or speculate?
Oh, I can tell you, Trustee Benz, that's a great question. I've been in finance since I think I was born. And I will tell you, with Silicon Valley Bank going under, one of the largest institutional banks in the state of California, where the top 1% of people, the wealthy people, put all their money, banks are only insured up to $250,000. There were people, we lost $100 billion with a B in one night at that bank. $100 billion wiped off the map as if it never existed. That's revenue that the state will not see on the capital gains on anything in there, on the stocks that might have been in there, on the interest that was in there. Because if you had 20 million and now you're only going to get 250,000. So that 1% dropped dramatically. That's where the majority of the funding for the state comes from, is the top earners in the state. And all of their money, a lot of their money was at that bank. We're now hearing that Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and there's another bank that are really trying to figure out if they're going to have to restrict their funding, which will affect the state's economy. So I anticipate it may revise. The governor will downgrade his projections. We don't know how much, but I can predict that he's probably going to downgrade it a little bit. We do have a rainy day fund in the state of California that he can dip into. So he might use that. The banks might be bailed out by the federal government, which happened back in 2008. That's another option that is on the table for the feds, but that's a decision that may come, later on. What we'll know is in May, when we have the May revise, if it's going to affect school budgets in the state of California. And it may not. If he uses the rainy day fund, we're good. And if he says, no, you know what, I'm going to reduce COLA by 1% or 2%, then we'll just reconfigure our numbers based on whatever the parameters are at that time.
Okay, thank you.
I don't have any questions. Ben's took mine.
Great. Thank you.
Trustee Webster had to excuse herself, but she has no questions at this time as well.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your presentation. Moving on to section 12. Ms. LeVey, do we wait for, but we have a quorum? Can we move on?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Section 12, adoption of the minutes. Trustees, I need a motion to adopt the minutes for the regular board meeting of February the 21st, 2023, special board meeting of March the 1st, 2023, and special board meeting of March the 7th, 2023. May I get a motion?
Benz, motion to approve the minutes of the February 21st, March 1st, and March 7th board meetings.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
Trustee Turner, I second.
Any discussion?
No.
Ms. LeVey, call for the vote, please.
Trustee Turner,
Turner, I.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Love French, I. Motion passed 3-0. What if she wants to pull something off the consent?
Just go slower.
On our way. Okay, moving on to section 13. Consent agenda. We're taking items 13.02 through 13.53. Does any trustee want to pull an item?
Benz, I would like to pull 13.45.
Webster, I would like to pull 13.30 and 13.38.
That was 13.30 and 13.38. Ms. Turner? Can I get a motion to approve the rest of the consent agenda with the exception of 13.30, 13.38, and 13.45?
Trustee Turner, motion to approve the remaining consent agenda.
May I get a
Benz, I second.
Ms. LeVey, please call for the vote.
Trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
trustee Turner,
Turner, I.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Love French, I. Motion passed 4-0. Going to section 14, items removed from the consent agenda. Can I get a motion for 13.30?
Well, you motion, yeah, I guess, and then we'd have to do,
Your motion is to approve
Motion to approve.
and then discussion stuff.
Okay. I would like to motion to approve.
Turner, I second.
We're now open for discussion.
Okay, I wanted to pull this agenda item because I feel like it's exceptional to highlight it. It is my understanding that this is a contract with an IT company to upgrade our wireless infrastructure so that all of our classrooms will have equal opportunity to Wi-Fi and our teachers can be supported with our online instruction. So I'm very excited to hear all of that coming. Thank you, Mr. Sinatra, for putting that into play, and thank you to your team for all your hard work as well. And that's all I wanted to say on that.
I have none.
Ms. LeVey, can you call for the vote, please?
Trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
trustee Turner,
Turner, I.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Love French. Motion passed 4-0. Moving on to 13.38. Can I get a motion for approval?
Webster, I motion for approval.
Benz, I said second.
We're now open for discussion. It was pulled by trustee Webster.
Yes, I did pull this one as well. This is a school within Northside. This is our very own El Mirage. And I want to highlight our two students who did advance to the next level of this conference for the Future Business Leaders of America. A special shout out to all of their hard work. I am very proud of them. And that's all I want to say about that one.
Trustee Benz, do you have anything?
I have nothing.
Trustee Turner?
Just a comment. I'm really excited for this program being in our district and at El Mirage and looking forward to other schools adopting it. And I know that's in the plans and the making. So congratulations to the students that will be attending the State Leadership Conference. And so good luck. Thank you.
Moving on to 13.4.
Madam President, let me
Oh, I'm
call the vote.
sorry.
That's okay. Trustee
Need a cough
Webster,
drop.
Webster, I.
trustee Turner,
Turner, I.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Love French, I motion passed 4-0. Moving on to 13.45. Can I get a motion?
Benz, I motion to approve.
Webster, I second.
We're now open for discussion. This was pulled by Benz.
I just wanted to pull this because, I am pleased and thankful that the new hire chose to stick with us. And, we really do. I believe once we vote, we want her to succeed in her new position. And I just wanted to say, we're excited. I know. I went to bed late last night, okay? 4 hours.
Trustee Webster?
Welcome to our AESD family, and we are so excited to have you.
Trustee Turner?
Yes, I concur. Welcome, and we're looking forward to you doing great things in our district.
I want to say welcome, and we know that you're going to be very successful. We appreciate you coming, and thank you for joining our AESD family. We appreciate it.
Call for the
Ms.
vote.
Z, can we call for the vote?
Yes. Trustee Webster,
Aye.
trustee Turner,
Turner, I.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Love French, I motion passed 4-0.
Thank you, Madam President. We'd like to congratulate Ms. Josephine Wade, who's in the audience with us this evening. She will be joining us and joining the Braddock family. And I know Principal Valenzuela is excited to have you on board, as well as the staff are looking forward to meeting with you and working with you. So congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you. Okay. Moving on to Section 15, new business. Trustees, I need a motion to approve the resolution for trustee Holly Eckes.
Benz, I motion to approve.
Trustee Turner, I second.
Ms. LeVey, please call for the vote. Oh, any discussion? I'm sorry.
Did you want to read the resolution?
I was gonna say, do you want to read it? So it's in public?
Mhm.
Okay.
Sure, why not? That's appropriate.
I'm not looking at grade. I should sit down.
Madam President, I also want to recognize that Trustee Eckes, his sons are both with us this evening. We have Bradley and Eric, and we want to welcome them here. And so as we read the resolution for them, Madam President.
Okay, Miss Holly Eckes, trustee area 3, Adelanto Elementary School Board of Trustees. Whereas Holly Eckes was appointed to the Adelanto Elementary School Board on July the 1st, 2001 through July the 1st, 2003. Holly has successfully served on the Board of Trustees of the Adelanto Elementary School District for a total of 18 years. Holly served in the position of board president, clerk, and member. She has also served as a member of the Delegate Assembly for the California School Board Association. Whereas from July the 1st, 2004 through July 2005, she was a dedicated employee and worked for our Child Nutrition Services. And whereas in 2005, Holly was elected and served multiple elections as a school board member until 2012. And in 2015, Holly was reappointed to the Board of Trustees until she was reelected in 2016 after finishing her 4-year term. She was reelected in 2020 and served in trustee area 3, serving Columbia Middle School and Theodore Vick Elementary until her passing on February the 6th, 2023. And whereas the Board of Trustees would like to take this opportunity to thank Holly Eckes for her untiring efforts in ensuring that the students of the district received a quality education, ensured that staff had exceptional working conditions, and whereas a valued leader and dedicated to the community, Holly had a passion for serving our district, and she spent her time and energy for the betterment of the school district and the community. And whereas Holly was a loving wife to her husband, Donald Eckes, and mother to her 2 sons, Brad and Eric, and she will be generally missed by all that knew her and loved her. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of the Adelanto Elementary School District that Holly Eckes be commended for her outstanding dedication to the students, staff, and community of the Adelanto Elementary School District. Now therefore be it resolved, the Board of Trustees and Superintendent Michael Kraus recognize Holly Eckes for her commitment and contributions to the Adelanto Elementary School District and to celebrate her life. And now therefore be it resolved, we as a community extend our sincerest condolence to her family and friends. Now therefore be it resolved, in order to honor the legacy of trustee Holly Eckes, her name will be placed as an honorable board member for life on the district's website. Now therefore be it resolved that this resolution be adopted by Adelanto Elementary School District and placed into the school and district's permanent archive, and a copy of this resolution be delivered to her family. This resolution is written by the Board of Trustees of Adelanto Elementary School District on this 4th day of March, 2023.
And this will hang in the foyer here. She would have liked that. She really would have been. Oh, that's beautiful. You have. Beautiful.
This is really, yeah, so pretty.
Yep.
Thank you.
Will hang.
Yes, if you want to make an announcement that the photo and the resolution will hang on the foyer permanently.
Okay. Her picture and the resolution will hang in the foyer permanently. We love you, hon. Yes. Right now, we're going to play a video.
Shiny and sparkly and splendidly bright, here one day, gone one night, like the loss of sunlight on a cloudy afternoon. Gone too soon. Like a castle built upon a sandy beach, gone too soon. Like a perfect flower that is just beyond your reach, gone too soon. Born to amuse, to inspire, to delight, in one day, gone one night, like a sunset dying with the rising of the moon. Gone too soon. Ooh. top, that's where you find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly, and the dream that you did to, oh, why can't oh, someday I wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where trouble melts like a lemon drops high above the chimney top. That's where you find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. And the dreams that you dare to, why, oh, why can't
Ms. LeVey, please call for the vote.
Trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
trustee Turner,
Turner, I.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Trustee Left French, I. Motion passed 4-0. 15.02. Trustees, I need a motion to approve, adopt, and approve the purchase of McGraw-Hill Impact History Social Science Curriculum for TK through 8 grades and professional development for teachers.
Webster, I move to table pending a workshop.
Turner, I second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, one thing, I wanted to make comment on this is with us only having 4 board members right now, and it is essential that every district is represented when we pick such massive changes in our district. I do feel that it would be respectful and necessary to do a board workshop once we have a 5th member.
Trustee Benz?
Well, I just feel bad for the new coming board because we're gonna then plop this on their lap. So, but with all the other things they've got to learn. I just know how I felt when I first was on the board.
I I would like the workshop. I agree. I would like the workshop, and I would also like to include parents and students so they can have a discussion in the workshop. One area of concern, the con that some of the students voiced was lack of song and lack of, what was that? Lack of videos. Kids like videos, kids like technology, kids like music, as we saw at the Ron Clark's Academy. And so I want curriculum, and I'm sure that it's a good curriculum. I did prefer McGraw-Hill over Savitz myself.
I just want to make sure that our kids are getting what they need out of this curriculum because it's a very important curriculum. And, we're learning things, I'm learning things at 69 that really happened in history that I didn't know that I wasn't taught in school, um, and as you can see, like Columbus, we're no longer calling it Columbus Day, and so certain things that I will just want to make sure that our kids are getting. Mhm. And what we're going to do to supplement what's not here. And that's important. Okay.
Ms. LeVey, call for the vote.
Trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
trustee Turner,
Turner, I.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Love French, I. Motion passed 4-0. Moving on to 15.03. Trustees, I need a motion to approval of resolution number 22.23.21 and filing of Form J-13A to request for allowance of attendance to the California Department of Education due to emergency conditions for Adelanto Elementary School District on March the 1st. I need a motion to approve.
Webster, I motion to approve.
I need a second.
Turner, I second.
Any discussion?
Yes. So this was a snow day?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Any other? Mrs. LeVey, can you call for the vote, please?
Trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
trustee Turner,
Turner, I.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Love French, I. Motion passed 4-0. 15.04. Trustees, I need a motion to approve the home to school transportation reimbursement plan commencing with the fiscal year 2022 /23 and thereafter. I need a motion.
Turner, I motion to approve.
I need a second. Love French, I second. Call for the vote.
Trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
trustee Turner,
Turner, I.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Love French, I. Motion passed 4-0. Moving on to 16, policies, introduction, updates, and readings. 16.01, trustees, I need a motion to approve the second read for the 2022/23 Board Governing Handbook.
Turner, I motion to approve.
Can I get a second?
Benz, I second.
Any discussion?
I just want to say that the changes made to this year's governance handbook, I think definitely added to the amazingness we already have created.
Thank you. Benz?
No, I like how it's, making procedures more clear. So it's not just unclear. I guess I like it.
I like it. I agree.
Ms. Turner?
I have no comments.
Ms. LeVey, can you call for the vote, please?
Trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
trustee Turner,
Turner, I.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Love French, I. Motion passed 4-0. Moving on to 16.02. Trustees, I need a motion to adopt and approve the first read of Board Policy 5146, married/pregnant and parenting students. Can I get a motion?
So weird. Benz, I motion to approve.
Can I get a second?
What?
Go ahead, Benz. Turner, second. We're open for discussion. Benz, you have anything?
No, it's just so weird because we are an elementary school and it's like, but I understand that we have to have this in our policy because it is ed code. But God, I hope we never use it ever. That's all.
Ms. Turner?
No comments.
Ms.
At this
Webster?
time.
No comments at this time.
Ms. LeVey, can we call for the vote, please?
Trustee Webster,
Aye.
trustee Turner,
Turner, aye.
trustee Benz,
Ben's on.
trustee La French.
Love French. Aye. Motion passed 4-0. Moving on to 16.03. Trustees, I need a motion to adopt and approve the first read of Adelanto Elementary School District Board Policy 6145, extracurricular and co-curricular activities and administrative regulation 6145.2, athletic competition. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll motion to approve. This is the first read, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Ben, second. Can I get a second, please?
Webster, I second.
Ms. LeVey, any
No.
discussion?
Yeah, I do. Who would I speak to get some clarification on this? Because there's times that I need things explained to me like I'm a 5-year old and I just was unclear on some of the wording.
Thank you, trustee Benz, for that question. At any point in time, if any board member has any questions on a first or second read, I'd be more than happy to meet with you and
Okay.
Help answer any questions you may have.
Okay, then I will set that up with you.
Ms. Turner, any discussion?
This one is a lot.
Yeah.
And, I really haven't had time to really dissect this one. So, I saw that's the end of my comments on
Webster? Trustee Webster?
I'm gonna hold my comments on the first read.
Yeah.
Ms. LeVey, can you call for the vote, please?
Trustee Webster,
Aye.
trustee Turner,
Nay.
trustee Benz,
Aye.
trustee La French.
Aye, motion passed 3-1. Moving on to 16.04. Trustees, I need a motion to adopt and approve the second read of board policy 6164.6 and administrative regulation 6164.6, identification and education under section 504. Can I get a motion?
Ben's, I motion to approve.
Can I get a second?
Webster, I second.
Ms. LeVey, could you call for the vote, please?
Any discussion, Madam President?
Any discussion?
I have none.
Ben's none. Ms. Turner?
I have none. I like I said, I haven't had time to dissect these policies, so I can't approve them.
Okay. Trustee Webster? Ms. LeVey, can you call for the vote, please?
Trustee Webster,
Aye.
trustee Turner,
Nay.
trustee Benz,
Aye.
trustee La French.
La French, aye. Motion passed 3-1. 16.05. Trustees, I need a motion to adopt and approve second read of Board Administrative Regulation 4119.112, 4219.12, 4319.12, and Exhibit 4119.12, 4219.12, 4319.12, Title 9, Sexual Harassment Complaint Procedure. I need a motion.
Benz, I motion to approve.
Turner, I second.
Any discussion? Trustee Benz,
I have none.
trustee Turner,
None.
trustee Webster,
None.
Ms. LeVey, please call for the vote.
Trustee Webster,
Aye.
trustee Turner,
Turner, I.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Love French, I motion passed 4-0. 1602.
16. 1606. You're going back.
Where
backwards.
you at?
Look at my glasses.
Yeah. Trustees, I need a motion to adopt and approve the second read board policy 5141.52 suicide prevention. Can I get a motion to approve, please?
Benz, I motion to approve.
Can I get a second?
Turner, I second.
Any discussion, trustee Benz,
I have none.
trustee Turner,
No comments.
trustee Webster?
No comment.
Call for the vote, please, Ms. LeVey.
Trustee Webster,
Aye.
trustee Turner,
Turner, I.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Love French, I motion passed 4-0. Okay, moving on to 16.07. Trustees, I need a motion to adopt and approve the second read of board policy 5145.3 and administrative regulation 5145.3 non-discrimination harassment. I need a motion.
Benz, I motion to approve.
Can I get a second, please?
Turner, I second.
Any discussion, trustee Benz,
I have none.
trustee Turner,
No, none.
trustee Webster,
None.
Ms. LeVey, please call for the vote.
Trustee Webster,
Aye.
trustee Turner,
Turner, I.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Love French, I motion passed 4-0. Moving on to 17. Governing board members' reports and announcements. Time is now 10:37, just so we stay on task. Governor's board members' reports and announcement. Let's start with trustee Turner.
Okay, I'll go really, really quick. Last year, only 42% of California third grade graders, the students most affected by distant learning and COVID disruptions, read at grade level. That's down from 48.5% in 2019. Although the scores have stagnated over decades, only 30% of low-income students were at grade level. Last week, I had the opportunity to visit one of the country's talked about schools in Atlanta, the Ron Clark Academy. This highly functioning charter school is located in a community that is considered low socioeconomic. I went there to see exactly what is being done differently compared to our schools and classrooms. One of the things that got my attention was the energy of the teachers and how they interacted with their students. I went there to see student participation, teachers' teaching styles, student engagement. The Ron Clark Academy have a class list that every single classroom operate from. I won't read them all, but some of the things that stood out with me was that be excited to be there, embody the passion you hope to see in your students. That was one. And encourage your students to cheer for each other. Incorporate movement and, throughout your lesson, throughout the day. Expect students to track you, even if there's distractions in your class, at the door or in the hallway. And use the entire class time for instruction and activity and never allow time for silent study or homework. And always keep
kids in view, never have students in different locations working on projects. Make an attempt to use music in every lesson. We heard a lot of music there, and the kids walked into the room, the classroom with music playing, and, you know, to get the class settled. And once the class got settled, the music stopped. And then it said, stop students from speaking if they use incorrect grammar, such as me and Brad went, and challenge yourself to be up to date on current trends and topics in education. It was one teacher that had the news of the day on the board, and they talked about Ukraine. And we're in a 4th grade class, and I tell you, those students sound like they were in college. You know, they gave an explanation of what they really thought was happening and what they felt that the United States should do about it. It was really exciting. And so that was just a few of the things that was at the Ron Clark's class list. And what really stood out to me, if a child learned differently, don't lower the expectations, teach them differently. And every child should learn at least 400 words per year. And I heard this quote, you have the power to change the world. Use it every day. And I'll end my comments with that.
Thank you. Trustee Benz?
It is, I am in the classroom, and, you know, I'm blessed. I do have a decent class. I have my classroom 8.5 hours out of the day. I get a half hour break for lunch. But when the kids are out at recess, I'm their proctor. When it's more morning break, I'm their proctor. And after school, I'm doing dismissal. And it is hard this year. You know, COVID has put a big scar on everybody, especially our kids. Our second graders don't know. They have a hard time trying to hold a pencil. And the state likes to pass these laws that leave our school districts scrambling, trying to meet these needs. And the state's passing laws that they have no foresight. And you've got teachers and kids who are kind of stuck in the middle here. You know, but I thank God every day for my job, and I do try to be positive, and it is hard. There's times that I'm not feeling it, but I just hang on, wait for spring break, take a little break, do a little Avatar marathon, because I love the last airbender, and I go on to the next one, because, you know, what else am I gonna do? I love my job. God put me there for a reason, and God put me here for a reason, and I'll just keep trying the best I can in both spots. And that's all I can do, I guess. And that's all I got to say, because it's late.
Thank you. Time is 10:48. Trustee Webster? I come behind you.
Did you want me to hold them? All right. Good evening, all, and thank you to those who are sticking out with us, and happy Pi Day. After hearing many comments tonight, it was reassuring to know so many heard my words from the prior meeting. It is so nice to know so many could relate to the need for kindness throughout our district. I do want to apologize if I offended any individual with my comments, as it was never my intention, but more so to make sure we are equally highlighting out everyday problems and how collective improvement can be achieved. I would like to take this moment to show some acknowledgement to some of the departments that I did get the pleasure of dropping in on last week. I wish I could see the entire district every week. I unfortunately cannot. I did get the chance to go visit Richard and Brandon and many others over in our maintenance and operations department. I got to see the amazing headway they are making on our pool project. I look forward to seeing even more overtime on this project as well. I do want to say thank you to these two men for allowing me their time and sharing their hard work. This department collectively helps keep our schools maintained and our grounds safe for our students, often underappreciated. I want to say once again, thank you for your dedication and hard work. Another acknowledgement I want to make tonight is to our IT department again. I was also able to go by and see them and their hard work. It was great to see the many changes coming to this department and to see the many changes Mr. Sinatra is implementing. See if I can talk this late. I am very excited to hear that we will have functioning Wi-Fi throughout our district. And that is another appreciation to our IT department. This year has been great. Let me pause there. This year, it's been great to see many schools taking trips, as these moments can impact our little and bigger lives. As I sat and read for hours this weekend over this very heavy agenda, I just wanted to say I was excited to see the many places our children will be exploring this springtime. Please be aware there will be a summer school program this summer, providing even more fun and enrichment. Coming up next week is a nice, relaxing break we need. I want to encourage all teachers and staff to check out the professional development being offered as well. If you need further information, please reach out to our cabinet or our superintendent for more details. I do want to say thank you to Mr. Kraus and our IT department. I know I have had a tolling time with my email and systems. As many watched prior to this meeting, our board was able to get some more adequate technology to hopefully alleviate a lot of these missed communications. With the systems being upgraded and analyzed, I do look forward to our communications excelling. I will close my comments there. I hope all have a good rest of the night, and please have a relaxing, deserved spring break.
Well, thank you. Okay, my turn. I didn't get to go last time. Sorry. Okay. I want to say that I spent Saturday. First, I want to say thank you to Mrs. Smith for inviting me to the High Desert Partnership Leadership Conference. I was able to attend the conference for ASB leaders on a Saturday. It was a field trip. I got my own shirt that said leadership. I had a phenomenal time. I had so much fun. I was joined by Miss Stacy Wagger and Miss Stacy Roher. I know I probably messed that up. I apologize. However, two fabulous ladies, both named Stacy. We hung out. We danced. We sat on the grass. We ate. The children from George, and they were interacting with other ASB children. They were just going to different workshops. They left me sitting outside for a little bit because my daughter didn't want me in the workshop with her. But they had a wonderful time just networking. We learned a little slogan that I said I was going to say here, which was called the Sandbox Baby. Only we know what that meant, but I said I was going to say it here. Something else that I learned there was a little quote I took for myself. It said, if you're tired of starting over, stop giving up. So I'm going to go back to the gym tomorrow. Everyone have a wonderful evening or night. Drive safe if you're here. Thank you for joining us, and a shout out to all our students that belong to ASB in Adelanto. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Almost walked up to her. Moving on to 18, adjournment. Trustees, I need a motion to adjourn.
Ben Simo motion.
I need a second.
Turner, I second.
Mrs. LeVey, please call for the vote.
Trustee Webster,
Aye.
trustee Turner,
Turner, I.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Love French, I. Motion passed 4-0. The time is 10:49. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.